get two. But if you do 1-2 grand upper, you get a third hit. And that third hit makes all the difference. I was waiting for him to come. Oh my god. Oh, I forgot about the Donovans. Come on. Wow, Wow. Okay. Ouch. You tried earlier. Oh, I'm terrible with Max. I'm absolutely terrible with Max, so good on you for trying. And I believe in, like, in my times of playing Streets of Rage, I think I've said this multiple times, that my most hated enemies are the Donovans. These guys. That and the Muay Thai boxers. The open BR. What is that? Oh, Beats of Rage. Beats of Rage, right? But of course, you can just do the most satisfying sound effect in all of 16-bit, the pipe hit. I shouldn't have died right there, though. Get out of here. You're crying from the Bob. Wait. What did they say? It's not grand upper, it's grab the paw. You're playing Mania. It's cool to spam on Mania. Yeah, true that. I know, right? They're so quick. They're so quick. Expect you to jump. Exactly. You can't. So a lot of times, like, I'll lean into an attack by doing a knee drop with Axel. But if you do the knee drop, they're ready for you. Oh, you little punk. Because they know that if you grab them, you lose the pipe. In this game, you lose your weapons if you grab them. Unlike 3. Come on, get back on screen. No, sir. You want me to Blue Sky? Heck yeah. And when it comes to social, I typically don't. Oh, no. Well, thank you for the follow. Welcome. No. Oh, actually, I didn't mean to. Dang it. It's like I didn't mean to do that, but it's fine. Sometimes it's best to just let them come to you. I'm gonna let him come to me. Like, let him come to me because I know there's a turn.
Welcome to the Sonic Experience, Episode 1, June 1st, 2025. I'm your host, Sora Starlight, and I am joined here today with G to the next level. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Everybody, G to the next level. They're a content creator known for their passion for Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog. Doing nostalgic and insightful content across YouTube and Twitch, and a lot of other social media platforms. They're almost on every platform I've seen right at this point, so you can connect with them anywhere. With that said, G, what we try to accomplish here on the Sonic Experience is a kind of in-depth conversation. We want to turn over some stones, maybe get into some topics that you haven't been able to share with people ever before, and maybe kind of dive down some childhood memories that haven't been shared in a long time. Fun stuff like that. We just have a meaningful conversation with each other. Thank you again for being here. So first thing I want to do is I want to play kind of a game, so to speak.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I want you to kind of close your eyes, right? And what I want you to kind of think back to is your first instance of Sonic the Hedgehog. All right? And as you kind of travel through your memories, right? I want you to think about who was there, family, friends, where were you? That you first were able to experience Sonic the Hedgehog, and go.
Okay, so my first experience with Sonic had to be in a local retail game store. Now, they don't really exist, but yet they kind of do exist. Remember Funko Land? Now, pretty much GameStop or EB Games, depending on where you're at. So where I grew up, there was a Funko Land that my mom and my sister would go to the store next door. It was like a shoe store that was next door, and they would drop me off in the Funko Land. And so I would get a chance to play, because then the owner of that store was really, really cool. I actually wound up working for them later on when I got older. But they were really cool, and they got a chance to just let me try out all kinds of different games. And that's why I got a chance to get hands-on with a lot of Sega stuff, because I was already like into Sega. Like I can explain like my whole story of why Sega became like the first real instance of why Sega became so crucial to my heart and to my gaming life. But for Sonic specifically, though, I do remember this one day because her name was Tracy, and she was just like, "Hey, actually have this game," because she knew that I love stuff like Super Mario and stuff like that, like when I was growing up. So it's like, "I've got this new game here called Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, have you ever heard of it?" I'm like, "No, I never heard of it." And so she put it on the Genesis, put it on the TV for me, and I instantly fell in love. We didn't have a Genesis at that point. We were already kind of on the idea in 1991 of trying to get a new console, because we had an Atari, we had an NES, and my dad and I played video games a lot together. And we were always kind of on the defense about getting a new game system, especially because the arcade that we used to play at, that was part of the bowling alley that my parents were part of league in, either they just loved Sega or they had some contract with Sega or something like that, because they had all the classic games. They had like Altered Beast, they had Outrun, they had Space Harrier, they had Golden Axe, they had all of them. And so seeing those games come home, I'm like, I want a Genesis. And so for years I was asking for one. But then Sonic came around, and I would not shut up to my parents about how much I wanted Sonic. And then, the advertisements started coming around, the TV ads started coming, the magazines that I was reading was coming around. So I was saying, I want this. Can I have this for Christmas? And my parents were like, I don't know. And so I remember the next day that we did go into a store once, and my dad and my mom were with me, and we're looking at all the different games. And my dad looks at the game library, and then he sees Arnold Palmer's Tournament Golf. My dad's a golfer.
Oh, okay.
And so he was like, "Oh, I did not know this game existed." And so I immediately caught eye to that. It's like, yeah, you could get me Sonic and you could get this, right? For Christmas. He's like,
there you go.
We'll think about it. And sure enough, Christmas 91, that's when we got our Genesis. So not only was it like my first real memory of Sonic being in my home, but it was also my first memory of the Genesis being in my home, because we got Altered Beast,
Right.
Outrun, Arnold Palmer's Tournament Golf, and Sonic.
Interesting. And so, how old were you at the time?
Ooh, so I would be, if I were then, because I'm typically, I mean, I think y'all pretty much know that I'm kind of seasoned. I don't really talk about my age a whole lot, but I'll let y'all in on that. I am, because I was 10. I was 10 around that time. So.
Oh, gotcha.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. So, yeah, you mentioned the Funko Land. Now, it sounds like one of those regional kind of game outlets that.
Well, it was until GameStop bought it.
Oh, GameStop. Oh, that GameStop, yo. Well, we had EB, like electronic boutique, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
we had one
that.
of those too.
Yeah, and then that got bought, but that's interesting. So my introduction with Sonic was when I was 5 years old at the time. So I was born at the tail end of the 80s, but I'm a 90s kid because that's what I remember.
Yep.
Of course, but Sonic. So you say Christmas of '91. That's when you got it. That's the same thing that happened to me. Christmas '91.
Nice.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I woke up to that Sega Genesis box with Sonic running off that little cliff, on the front of the box. And I remember taking the not for resale box out of the styrofoam. It was a pack-in. Sonic was a pack-in at that point. And that was my first introduction to Sonic. And all Christmas morning, just there with my family playing that game. Very magical, very magical. But you had some lead in prior to that. So you were hyped. You were getting hyped right up to the release of that. With ads and marketing. Now, I do remember, you tell me if you remember, did you have a magazine with the Origin of Sonic comic?
I know of that comic and which magazine it was, but I didn't actually own it. It's like, because that was the one that where Sonic was originally brown, right?
That's right.
Before he became blue.
Sonic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remembered reading it, but I didn't actually own it myself. I wish I had it.
Yeah, I do have. I have an original copy from when I was a kid. It survived somehow. Then I picked one up on eBay that's more pristine because, howdy, did I give that comic a run for its money as a 5-year-old.
That's like me and Archie issue 0, like the Archie comic issue 0. When I got it from back then, like it was at a Safeway, like way back in the day. And I still have my original childhood one. It is well loved. Super well loved. I am shocked that those staples are still holding it together.
Yes.
But I did get another one later on that I have that's in much better condition. So, yep, so just like you, but different comic, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was in a grocery store and I turned the corner to the comic book rack. Back then they would have, maybe they still do, I don't know, but they had that rectangular vertical standing comic rack that spun. And I just, right in front of me, as I turn the corner, I see Sonic. And I'm like, ooh, and I run up to it as a kid. And I'm like, oh my God. And I could have been, I don't know, the memory feels like days it went on for. Just me picking up the comic and being like, oh my gosh, it's Sonic in comic book. That was such a mind-boggling thing. I'm like, it was a game. Now it's a comic book. And I was so excited. And of course, I would never get things at the store outside of food, special little treats. I never collected any magazines or anything. My mom wouldn't, buy me that type of stuff. But she knew how much Sonic meant to me, right? So she bought it. Thank God. Comics were like $1.25, I think, at the time.
I think so.
So yeah, no, that's all those little magical moments, I wish I had the hype train, so to speak, that you had. Seeing it, you said they popped it in at that Funko Land, and you next thing you see is this blue hedgehog. Is that correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was just wild because I had never heard or even seen anything about him yet. It's shocking me because I was reading the magazines and everything, but they got it that early on that I got a chance to experience him for the first time, and then that's when I started seeing him in the magazines and everything. But
That's awesome.
I was just taken aback, just again playing it through the very first time because it was unlike anything I had ever seen or ever heard or had ever played at that time. And even still to this day, it's like it might not be my favorite Sonic game of all time, but every single time that Sonic 1's Green Hill Zone pops up and you see that
Oh,
introductory, like to the very beginning, it's just it hits me right in the heart, like every time. It's
so
like I'm
much.
immediately taken back to 91.
Yeah,
It's like
it's emotional. It's emotional, right?
it
It's
is.
powerful. Um,
Mhm.
well, now that we understand a little bit of how your first connection with Sonic, you know, you 10-year-old, you got Sonic for Christmas. That's amazing, so magical. I want to take a step back and I want you to kind of give us your origins and inspirations as a content creator. Let's take a step back and look at the whole picture of where you are now, okay? And then we're gonna trace back how you ended up there. So I want to know, um, you know, your inspiration, what sparked your initial, interest to become a content creator, um, and maybe like a formative memory that, I don't know how, if it was years ago when you started out trying to be a influencer or content creator, that really said, that made you say maybe something to the lines of, this is what makes me happy. This is, driving my creative spark, and so on and so on. Maybe you can walk us through that whole process and how you got to where you are right now.
Oh, sure. So I was one of the people who watched like the OG YouTubers, like when they first really got started. The OG video game YouTubers, like the
Mm,
angry video game nerd, Captain S, like the Screw Attack Game Squad, like
yeah.
everybody like that. I grew up started watching those, and because I thought to myself, I had always wanted to be, when I went to college and everything, I wanted to be a writer. Like I wanted to be a writer and a director. I wanted to basically get my creative field in some way, that form, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to write about, if that makes sense. But I was already so enthused in video games, but I thought also it's like, nobody wants to watch a movie or a TV show or something like that about video games. Who the fuck anybody would want to do something like that? And so I just kind of, because I did get an associate's degree. And it's like I do have an associate's degree in television and film technology, so I have that. But I just kind of let it sit there for a while, trying to figure out what to do. Meanwhile, working odd jobs and all that good stuff. And but at the same time, I'm still watching those YouTubers, and I said, you know what, I could really see myself doing something like this, but I didn't know what to do. And so at the same time, I was also collecting. I was filling out my Genesis collection because real quick, I didn't mention this earlier. For my Sega Genesis collection,
Hmm.
I have a full U.S. retail set for Genesis. There's only one officially licensed Genesis game that I'm missing in my collection, and it's Outback Joey. And some count it and some don't. Most people don't. So,
Well,
but
I
still
did do
doing
my
all that.
research on you, by the way, and I did see that you have quite the collection, actually.
No, thank you.
You were doing Road Rash on your Growing Up Genesis, and I was like, wait a minute, they're like, I'm gonna use my own copy, and I'm like, they just had that on the ready, and then I
Yep.
I found out you have quite the collection, and nearly complete. Clearly, so
Yep.
sorry to interrupt you. No, continue.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good. It's the only thing out of my collection now is I have all the carts. I just need about 80 or so odd manuals. I have all the boxes.
Ooh,
So some of them I want to replace, but I have all the boxes. I just need to get about, I think I have like 82 manuals left over that I still need. Some of them are really tough to get.
wow,
But yeah, going
wild.
back to, I said I wanted to do something like this. And so while at the same time, that's when I started attending conventions. Like I wasn't doing tables, like I wasn't working tables or doing guests or anything. I was just going to conventions. And I'm in Texas, right? There
Mhm.
is a retro gaming convention called Retropalooza that we have here. And also at the same time, we had a little shop called the Game Guys. So it's a game warehouse that we would have shops to where you could buy and sell. It's a trade market, swap meet sort of thing.
Mm.
And I met somebody by the name of Tyler while we were there, and he and I talked about our love for Sega and how he used to have a whole website as like, the SegaChannel.com and all that kind of stuff. We
Oh,
started talking back and forth,
goodness.
and how he had a YouTube channel. And so like we became really, really good friends. Fast forward to Retropalooza when he was a guest and he had a panel. And so I started talking with him after the panel, and I said, hey, would you have any sort of like advice to, because I really want to start doing YouTube, but I don't know how to begin. Like, I want to talk, but I don't know. Like, I didn't really have any proper sort of direction on what I wanted to do. And he's like, well, here's the thing, because like we've talked so much, and here's what he said back. He's like, we've talked so much, and like I figured that we've actually got a good sort of rapport bouncing back and forth. Why don't you come on the show with me? It's like, come on my channel. It's like, come on the show with me, and we'll just talk about one particular game, see how it goes, and maybe that'll help you find your way. I was like, okay, cool. So I went on a few weeks later. The channel was called iRetroGamer. It's now a different name. I'll get to that in a moment. But he brought me in. We talked about Ghostbusters 2 on the NES and how we were just kind of defending on how, like, you know, this game's gotten a little bit of a bad rep. Like, it's not that bad. We talked about our Ghostbusters memories and then just how we enjoyed playing through the games. And then I was a nervous wreck back then. Like, I was nowhere near the extrovert, like the outspoken G that I am now. Like, I was nowhere near that. I was a lot more, I don't know how people feel about me and how I was a lot more reserved back then. And we were done, and he was like, no, everything was just completely natural. And his audience loved it. The video did wonderfully. They loved it. The comments were just like, we love this new co-host. And he's like, why don't I bring you on full time? It's like, just become part of the channel. And it's like, sure. And so I did. And so I was on his channel for roughly about a year. And then that's when I decided afterwards, like, hey, I'd like to try. I think I have an idea of what I want to do. It's like, I'd like to do something that's a little bit more Sega focused and just kind of leaning into that. And that's when I was also coming up with different names. And that's when G to the Next Level was born, because it's like, I'm here to take you to the next level. Welcome to the next level. Who are you? You are G to the next level.
Yes.
And that's where the name came into that. And then afterwards, I made a video where I reviewed a all-in-one retro gaming console called the Retro Freak. I went through its paces. I was really thorough about it. I tested some games, did very well. A couple of weeks later, I made a video showcasing my Sonic the Hedgehog collection, the original video, which now has over 100,000 views, which is awesome. And that video blew up. And so I was like, okay, I think I'm getting something here. And so if I try to keep it around the same sort of ideals between retro gaming, Sega, and Sonic, then I think I've got something there. And sure enough, the years kept going by, so things kept growing. And then around like 2020, I started getting a little bit of a lull. Like 2020 and 2021, I started getting into a little bit of a lull where I was like, creatively, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go next, because I was like, I'm kind of feeling like I'm treading water. I'm not really inspired. And so pandemic happened, and we're grounded. We're basically grounded at home. I'm working from home at that particular point. So I started watching a few friends of mine who streamed. My buddy Jamie, aka Stuff We Play, and now known as Tales from the Bond. She started streaming a lot on Twitch. And so I started watching more and more Twitch streamers just playing retro games and just hanging out and chatting. I was like, I kind of like this. I kind of want to try this. And so, a little bit later, when I finally got the, computer strong enough to stream, so I had a computer strong enough to edit. I did not have one strong enough to stream. So when I did finally get that, I just started randomly. I decided, hey, the demo for Ball and Wonder World dropped. Let's go ahead and try it, because it's from the creator of Knights.
Yeah, that's
Ballin'.
a trip.
Oh, Ballin'.
Yeah.
But and so I just decided to do that, and sure enough, like, I enjoyed it. I got bit by the bug. Now, I didn't. If you had asked me then, would Twitch streaming become kind of my main, like my biggest love, my main form of content, I would have told you no. I would have said like, no, YouTube is still like doing cut content and all my stuff. Like, my main stuff on YouTube is my best way to go. But throughout the years, like, I've just, in the community and the people that I've met and the connections that I've met and everything that I've done and just the experiences that I've been, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And that's kind of where we're almost got, because there's one more piece of the pie that happened last year that kind of came everything. So we got YouTube and we got Twitch, right? Now we got one more piece of the pie that happened very randomly. Because like I mentioned, I work for a traveling video game tournament company. I mentioned this before we went live.
Right.
That's one of the contracted jobs that I have. And we stopped at this shopping center, and one was a Burlington. And I forgot what I had to go pick up. I think I had to pick up like some clothes or something like that in the Burlington. And I was about to check out, and I looked in the front lanes, like of all the electronic stuff that they have over there, the cables, the headsets, and I saw this rotating Sonic the Hedgehog Bluetooth headphones.
Aw.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
You've seen those headphones?
I think you showed them in your collection.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I did.
I was watching one of your videos on your classic Sonic collection. They popped up.
Yeah. So, and I just made a dumb little 15-second video. It's like, hey, look at this cool thing that I found at Burlington. Look at all the faces showing how it all works. And I was rarely on Instagram. Like at that point, I wasn't even on TikTok yet. Like I was rarely on like Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided, oh, whatever, I'll post a video. Cool. I put some subtitles on it. Like, all right, cool. Blew up. Literally like 50,000 to like 70,000. Well, blowing up for my level, right? It's like overnight, and it's just whoa, okay. It's like,
No,
all right, that's kind of cool.
immense.
And I just kind of put off to the side for a little bit. And so as I was shopping around, I started noticing, because I was already kind of still somewhat collecting Sonic stuff at that time, but it was mostly like figures and all, like, and mail stuff I get through the mail. But then I started noticing these little small unique things that I don't see any other brand really doing. And I was like, this is cool. This is unique. This is quirky. And then that's when I started realizing, hey, these are kind of some hot spots to find these things. Maybe people want to know where they can find these Sonic stuff to help fellow collectors, right? And so I started making more and more from my finds, these little 15, 30-second clips. And then that became a whole thing. I decided to just put them on TikTok. And so I just put them on TikTok. And now those have amassed a community among themselves. And so it's like, it's 3 different pieces. And then, well, I mean, the fourth being conventions and all that stuff that have all come together into one G to the next level. What's a word I could use for that? I guess like
Experience bundle.
Experience.
You know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's in your title. You said the thing.
Yeah. It's one whole experience bundled together.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, and now here we are. I'm doing all of it. It's like I'm doing all of it together, and I'm not gonna lie and say that it's 100% roses, because you're a fellow creator, like you know that there's a lot of times there's peaks and valleys, right? And it's really how you deal with the valleys that get you to the peaks. And I wouldn't ask to redo like hardly any of it. It's been a blast, and I'm just getting started.
Well, so I agreed. There's the peaks and the valleys. It can be such a roller coaster. And what I find has helped me when I find myself starting to, tread water, like you mentioned, or just kind of like, I don't know where I'm going right now. I'm doing my streams, but like, it's like, kind of copy paste at this point. I've seeked out doing, community involved projects. I put on this, last winter, I did a Starlight Winter Carnival with my team. I've got two buddies that work with me. We're Team Starlight, and the idea was people were complaining about a lot of negativity in the community, and I'm just like, you know what? Yes, there's always negativity in any fandom, but let's work together and prove people or show to people that that's not the majority. So I put on this whole carnival where we raised money for Gamers Outreach, and we were able to raise over $6,000 over the course of 6 weeks, actually.
Excellent cause, by the way.
Yeah, no, it meant a lot to me because, they're trying to make being in a hospital for kids, more tolerable. I was a kid in the hospital a lot when I was younger, and just having the power of gaming to get through it is immense. We had a big old tube TV on a rolly cart in the hospitals that I was in when I was a kid, kind of like what would be rolled into your classroom, when you're a kid, and like, oh, it's time for Bill Nye today, kids. So and it had like an NES on it, as I recall, but I digress. But yeah, the point is, turning towards the community has always been my kind of, through line to like something new and refreshing. And boy, does the community will not disappoint when you ask them to step up, for a good cause or otherwise. And I think that's another aspect of the whole Sonic experience. Whether you're doing streaming, content creation, or you're fundraising, or you're doing stuff with artists or fan games, or just looking for general thing. There's so many outlets within the Sonic community to accomplish and to experience those things. Now, but going back to, so your journey, it sounds like you started out kind of like mid to late 2000s, like you mentioned, angry video game nerd, etc. And that was such a really interesting time in the internet, because YouTube was just getting its start. But you would go to some of these creators, they had their website, and they would upload maybe not weekly, but monthly or every other week. They were uploading their content, and it felt so, it was the passion first and foremost that those creators were giving off in their videos was so immense, because they could just make their content the way they wanted to make it. Because before then, where could you get any of that? You'd have to, I don't know, you'd watch G4 or some gaming channel that was just on broadcast cable or anything, and then it's not. It's just, there's something special about being just with look, angry video game. They're just like me. They get it, they understand it, and they're just putting the content out there. And it felt like so. What's the word? Man, words, right? It was authentic. It was just very authentic to me, and it felt great. Yeah, and then of course YouTube started to develop, and people were able to get stuff on that, make it more accessible and more accessible. So is that correct? It was kind of like mid late 2000s that you were starting to get that first kick of your journey. Was that the time frame?
I would say so, because that was where I wanted to do something like this. Even though I didn't really actually start until way later, those were really the seeds.
Yeah,
that's why I kind of look into them, like the OG crew, because they were like the seeds that I started watching their videos and their creations, and that's when I decided I wanted to make something of my own. So yeah, I would absolutely say that.
Yeah, and you mentioned in college you were doing that about at the same time, and you said writing, you were getting a writing degree. Okay, and but a lot of gaming wasn't really on the docket back then, like in a serious not like. And I've heard things are starting to shift. There's streaming and social media and gaming. It's on such another level now compared to, back in that era. And how seriously those, you go to college and oh, you want to do gaming? Okay. And it's well, why not? And now you see a lot of that is the norm, frankly.
Yep.
Yeah, so
when you have schools dedicated directly to doing just video game school or video game schools, doing stuff for degrees specifically within gaming and development and marketing and all that kind of stuff. You're absolutely right. It is a stark cry from around that particular time back then. I'm not gonna say back in our day, because I don't want back in our day. I don't want to be anything like that. But but there is a stark difference between the acceptance of video games and culture back then versus now. Now it's just it's part of the furniture. As some people say, it's
now. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty wild change from back then to now. And I remember going to some of my first conventions. My first convention, I went to Otakon in 2009, and just the explosion of I knew just my perspective at that time in my life started to change, where it's people would kind of make fun or make light of my passions and stuff back then as a teenager and into young adulthood. Oh, will you play games still? I'm like, yes. And it would make you feel bad. I had those experiences. And so what I'm curious is, first and foremost, your content, right, is bathed in a lot of nostalgia and such for people that grew up with that, which I immensely appreciate. And, looking through your stuff, it hooks me, but but I'm easy like that. Right. But, So within your content, what do you do to try to get people that are a newer generation of gamers? Because and what I mean by that, like, they didn't grow up on the Genesis, but boy, you know, go back to like 2001 to 2004, you had Sonic X and Sonic Heroes come out, and it created a whole generation of Sonic fans that don't have that nostalgia in their mind of the Genesis and the, you know, 16-bit music and all that good stuff. So is there something that you do with your content that you feel like do you feel pressured to kind of cater differently these days with your content at all? You know what I mean?
Well, I always feel like you have to kind of understand what works with your content, with your audience, right? It's always good to understand or to get at least a good grasp of who your audience is. Like, for the most part, my audience tends to skew a little bit older. So it's not that hard to really, it's just like, I kind of understand the importance of these classic games, especially like, because my whole thing, or not my whole thing, but the majority of what I do is surrounds the Sega Genesis. And I feel like it's a console that there's a lot of these gems that still need to be mined, that like people, especially like during a time when it was like, oh, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. So I really kind of started at a time when Nintendo was still kind of king when it comes to like retro gaming on YouTube and Twitch. Nintendo was still kind of king. Meanwhile, you got this little Sega focused creator trying to peek their head and like, hey, I know you've heard about this Nintendo thing a bunch of times. Hey, come check out the Sega thing. That's kind of what it is. Like, I like to really kind of spin it back to the importance of these older classic games and how they influence games of the latter. So like, say, going into stuff like, say, I'll use my wife as a perfect example, right? Mm-hmm. Her first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Like, the first one to really jump in and play. I mean, I believe she played like classic Sonic before that.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is that while she might not be the best at actually playing classic Sonic games, she's always found that little bit of like fascination of like the classic ones and the characters. Knuckles became like her favorite character and things like that. It's like trying to find, like, if you feel so much for these characters now, check out their humble beginnings. Same thing with like games, right? And franchises that might still be around now. So like, say, Street Fighter, perfect example. You know, we're on Street Fighter 6. Like, for those that are actually in Street Fighter 6, well, maybe check out some of the original. Now, you know, the origin of Street Fighter might not have been the actual best, but when you're looking at like Street Fighter 2 and beyond, it's like, it's good to, and it doesn't always stick, right? But I always find it like, it's good to understand with gaming, especially, that where your roots are. And then the other thing that I like to see too, somebody, in fact, this happened today in my Twitch chat. Somebody mentioned like, hey, I appreciate what you're doing, G, because I can't get excited about video games anymore. And it made me kind of sad a little bit, because I was like, really? How so? And it's like, it's all just kind of the same. Like, when you kind of look back, and no, this is their, you know, their opinions on it, not mine. I feel that there are quite a few like newer video games that are coming out that still have that sort of spark. Yeah. But there's still something about going back to those retro games. And it's like, games are still going to keep coming and rolling around and evolving and changing. But the games that I'm showcasing are there forever. And you can always go back. Like, you can always go back to these games and share those memories. And while you're going back to those memories of the ones that you've played and you love, why not check out this one that you haven't tried yet? It's like, this might be one that, like, I remember one game in my collection. Have you ever heard of a Genesis game called Ranger X? Have you ever heard of that?
Ranger X, I can't say I have.
Okay, not many people have. So it's a side-scrolling mech action game where it's a little bit complicated in how it works, but when I was going through, because it's a game that I know backwards and forwards. I've almost beaten the game deathless. I want to beat it deathless someday, but I know it backwards and forwards. And so as I'm playing through the game and I'm explaining how it works, the people who know about the game are just like, wow, like, this game was really tough and I could never really grasp it. But now I understand, and now I kind of want to go back and play it again. And those that were not familiar with it, it's like, oh, this sounds so cool. Like, I actually really want to try that. Those are the kind of things that get me that get me excited. Those are the kind of commentaries that make me excited. It makes me feel like that I'm inspiring, because that's one of my three things: inspire, educate, and entertain. Those are like my three main things. And if I inspire somebody to go back and try something that they've never tried before, or maybe go back and rekindle. Now, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's in the other direction, because there are sometimes that there are games that we love, and I'm just like, oh, this is not great now. So it's just like, I'll see, oh, this is something I grew up in my childhood. Like, you might want to tread carefully if you go back and play this one now. Like, sometimes it does happen, right? But it's all about this rekindling that spark that I feel many people with gaming now have kind of lost. So I feel like it's important for creators like, people like me who are steeped within retro to kind of keep that flame alive, to realize, hey, things may not be going the way that we expected to at gaming today. You can always come home. Like in this case, like it's a home. You can always come back home. You can feel cozy here.
That's really actually awesome, because the way you put that, to go back and entertain and educate, inspire, I think you said too. Was that the inspire, educate,
entertain?
Yes. I think that's pretty magical in and of itself right there. These games, you go back and a lot of people, like you said, have never tried them, or you mentioned, X Ranger, or I'm sorry, Ranger X. Yeah. I love mech, so after this, I'm going to go look that up, because I love mecha games and, Gundam, et cetera, but there's these, see, I feel like gaming the market is so saturated with every possible thing that you could want in any genre. Whereas back in the Genesis, 90s era of gaming, with Nintendo and all those guys, it's the gaming was like, there, don't get me wrong, there was lots of games, right? But not as a wide variety, in my opinion. There was, you always have your gems and things that, that maybe weren't quote unquote, mainline. You had your Mario, you had your Sonic, you had Mega Man. In my experience growing up, like those were like the big names I was always constantly hearing. And of course I gravitated to Sonic, because I had a Genesis. But imagine how my life would be if I got a Nintendo instead. I'd be on the Mario experience right now, right? I'd be a plumber. Hedgehogs are plumbers, people. Come on. But anyway, so it's I'll put it this way. When I had a Sega Genesis, I, for the life of the console, had like maybe 5 games. I had my Sonic 1, I had Sonic 2, I had Sonic 3, Spinball. I think I had Echo the Dolphin. I never got Sonic and Knuckles for some reason. I always had to keep renting that game. So, speaking of going back, when I as I grew into young adulthood, I was able to purchase that and get a Sega Genesis hooked up to my HD TV and like re-explore some of the stuff. But
felt good, didn't it?
Yeah, it felt good. Yeah, I never got a Sonic. I had got Sonic CD. At that time too, because I never had it as a kid. I didn't have the Sega CD attachment or 32X, et cetera. But so going back and being able to relive those games, and then you're doing that for people on your channel. You're these games are here. They're always going to be here, and they, people like me and you, we don't want those games to be forgotten. Because there really was a magic, I think, to it back then. Comparatively to now, because everything's oversaturated. And it's funny, I saw a trailer montage for new games coming up at I think Summer Game Fest, and I'm not putting down anything. I'm just saying this is my perspective, in general, whether it's my opinion, of course, and I don't know if anyone shares it, but I'm just looking at all the videos that are popping up in this trailer, and I'm like, it's all hyper realistic shooter gore. I'm not seeing a lot of fantasy. But then my eyes lit up, of course, when they had a moment of Sonic pop in. Sonic racing cross worlds, I was like, oh goodness, yes, my boy is there, but I'm like, but nothing else was like catching my eye, and not to say that I'm not into shooters or stuff like trust me, Battlefield was like one of my biggest games that I got into when I started doing PC gaming in the early 2000s. But you know, I feel like there's some magic that was lost from the 90s to the modern era. And you know, all these gaming events, there's just like, well, here's another shooter, here's another gore fest, here's another shocking, and those games are really great in storytelling, because I will give them that, like, you know, we didn't have a lot of storytelling in our games. Now, not to be confused with not having storytelling, because they were able to convey so much with just a few scenes of pixel sprites, you know, running around doing stuff, you know, so it's, to me, like, again, just preserving that whole era and, you know, introducing people to it is so important. And then you couple that together with a fantastic personality, you know, by the way, I was hooked on your videos. You what I like about you is you keep people like very minimal silence. You're keeping people like engaged and everything. And I think that's very important, by the way. So yeah, kudos to you, what you're doing and your content and everything. And I think that's really, really important.
Oh, thank you.
Now,
it's
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No. Go, if you want to go on. Sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say that is one of the big reasons why too, because I did get going back to a question that you asked earlier, because something I didn't quite mention, talking about the channels and everything, because I know my whole growing up Genesis thing, which all started up to be just like a little small thing, and now it's become a huge multifaceted project that I'm doing between YouTube, Twitch, and hopefully someday a book. We'll see if that happens.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But
right,
that's the total end game, is the book, right? Once I get there, it's like, oh. But the best thing about it is not only just rekindling the memories, not only just chronicling everything, because I got inspired by a handful of YouTubers that do these major chronicling projects. One in particular, he's retired. One in particular is Frame Raider. He used to do a console library series where it was mostly small libraries. Like, he would pick like the Atari 5200, the Atari Lynx, the Tiger Gamecom. Like, but I love the way it is. It's like he went in alphabetical order, little bite-sized reviews like of everything that he was doing, and then he'd give like a small rating. Now, he stopped doing the ratings later on for multiple reasons, but then he decided to do the GameCube, and then he got about 4 letters into the Nintendo GameCube, and then he quit. Because he's like, this is so much work, and I'm not feeling this as much as I was feeling the other ones, and it was really exhausting. And I totally get it. I totally understand. I was sad at that moment, but it was kind of at that point that that kind of lit that flame in me to do Growing Up Genesis. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, now is the time. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it unless I physically can't do it or financially can't do it. I'm going to see it to the end. Like, and we'll get all the way to the letter Z. On Twitch, we're almost at the letter S. We're really close to the letter S.
Oof.
YouTube,
yeah.
We're still a ways away because of delay after delay after delay, which I apologize about that. But it is happening, though. So it's like people are seeing this because they're getting a chance to see a whole bunch of things that they had never seen before. And kind of purring onto or adding on to that of how you say modern stuff is just kind of a little bit samey, right?
That's a good way to describe it. Samey. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I feel that like up to a certain point, like every console generation has a unique feel. Like everything has a unique, whether it be style, whether it be culture, whether it be the libraries themselves, whether it be the technology. Like everyone has a distinct difference between all of them, like from NES to Genesis, from Genesis to PlayStation, from PlayStation to GameCube, from GameCube to Xbox. So like Xbox 360, because we're going for next generation. But I feel personally that once you hit the Xbox One generation, that's when it started blending in. Like at that point. Now here comes the Switch to kind of, disrupt everything, which I love the Switch. That's one of the reasons why. It's like, it came and disrupt everything. It's like, okay, well, y'all doing the same thing? Bam, hybrid console. And so that kind of, I feel the Switch really was the shot in the arm that gaming really needed. It did.
Oof.
And But it all goes back to, though, there's a reason why with all of these, Xbox just did it. PlayStation just started jumping into it, and of course Nintendo has Switch Online. They have that. There's a reason why all these newer consoles still have access to retro games. Why those retro games are still there, because they also want you to have that home to go back to. It'll never die. As long as you keep the flame alive, it'll never die.
Wow, that's a really awesome perspective on it, and a lot of that is probably driven by people that are. We'll use Nintendo as the example, is for that retro gaming. And I like how you said home, that home. And there's so many people that still at Nintendo that have been there since the beginning, so to speak, like 80s NES and so on. But and I feel like a lot of Sega, Sega Sammy, all them kind of have the same perspective on that too, probably because they didn't hesitate to get their stuff on Nintendo Switch Online. That resonates with me. It's like that home to go back to, yes, there's a subscription to it and everything, but you get this endless catalog that's always updating, and you never know what's going to pop up on there. And and they're moving into GameCube territory. People have been asking that for such a long time. It's so powerful. I bought a GameCube. I snagged one the other week, last week, online on Nintendo Shop. The new GameCube.
You got the controller?
Yeah, I was trying to get to the words. The GameCube controller on their
excellent.
eShop, whatever. So definitely looking forward to playing it. They're gonna have all the Pokemon, not all, but some of the Pokemon games I missed out on. But no, I agree with you. Very powerful words, to go back to that home so things aren't forgotten. Where we started, and here we are now, but where did we start? Those games, let's be very clear, are still so powerful to this day. And I'll tell you one quick story. As there was I don't know what Sonic convention or what convention it was, but they had some of the Sonic team there, and Izuka, I'm pretty sure he was on the panel, and this, like, I swear, a 10-year-old walks up to the mic, and this was during the Sonic Forces Mania era, kind of.
Oh yes,
yeah, and he goes, "Guys, what happened to the Super Emeralds? Why aren't those accessible? Why aren't we doing hypersonic?" And the whole room erupted, and you saw Izuka was smiling, and look, that kid went back and played the classic era, and he's saying, "Nah, I want those Super M." So, I mean, right there, right? This kid, I get goosebumps because I'm such a nerd, and it means so much to me to hear that. Like, the Super Emeralds, yeah. Let the 10-year-old bring the room to its knees by asking about that. Like, powerful, right?
Love it. You love to see it.
Yeah.
I honestly would bring me. I'll be like, yes, the dream is still alive. I love it.
Yeah, the dream is still alive. Oh, goodness, it's pretty immense. So, all right, let me ask you this. Your community, or even the Sonic community as a whole, just has that allowed you to explore things that you with your connection with Sonic, that you let's say you grew up with Sonic, and then you bit by bit you kind of get immersed into the Sega Sonic community, and that's your it was part of your childhood, now it's part of your adult life, and so on and so on. And then you make connections with all these people within the community. Do you feel like the Sonic community in general has allowed you to just be yourself more than you had prior to becoming immersed in the community in and of itself?
No, 100%. Absolutely. If there's any, because I'm dabbling in so many different communities, I can't say that there is, and I mean, again, it's not 100%, you're going to get your bad apples every now and then, right?
Of course.
But I can't say of any other community that I feel is as inviting and as encouraging in wanting to be yourself and wanting to explore things that you might not have never explored before, and being the true you than the Sonic community. I mean,
Right.
I've gone through a personal me, or maybe I really enjoy this thing. Maybe I enjoy these kind of people to be around, or enjoy doing these things when it comes with Sonic. Like, this seems to be a whole, there's a lot more openness about that than in anything else. And I would probably say, yeah, because the thing is that I mean, the reality is, I mean, I get this question a lot. It's like, if you weren't really into Sonic, would you still be doing this today? I mean, the short answer is no. I mean, he's so
Right.
integral to literally everything I do that, like, no, there wouldn't be. But at the same time, would I be doing this the way that I am doing now if it weren't for how involved I've been in the Sonic community? Yeah, it would be a completely different turn. And I feel that I probably wouldn't be nearly as open. I wouldn't be nearly as energetic. I wouldn't be nearly as I'm not going to say as inviting, but like, I've definitely changed a lot for the better, for being a lot more into Sonic throughout these last couple of years. And I can tell you straight up too, because there was a point in my life going back to around that 2021, 2022 era, like kind of right around there, when I was kind of trying to figure out some other things. And I was like, okay, I'm not really sure what to do. And I was going through a little bit of a point where I was getting a little burnt out of Sonic. So I was just like, okay, maybe, and I'd like to try to maybe do other things. And I was like, oh, but people really want to see more Sonic content, but I don't really know what. And is there really a desire for that there? And it's like, you can only get so much online. You can only get so much with the people that you know and the people that you talk to. Then in 2023, I went to the Sonic Expo.
Oh.
And that changed everything. Just talking to the people in person and seeing just the energy and the passion. Like, seeing it in words in a chat box or on a screen aren't even close to experiencing it in person. And that rejuvenated my love for Sonic.
Oh, wow.
Like that right then and there, like, that was what I needed. That was the inspiration that I needed. Like, to keep going and to dive more into my favorite video game character of all time. That's not mince words. He is my number one, and always will be my number one.
Yes.
I can confidently say that. But yeah, I would absolutely say that yes, the Sonic community it has allowed me to be a lot more to be myself, right? Because I'll be real, you know, I've been out for 2 years now, right? And I was like, I've been out as non-binary for 2 years now. There are still certain areas and certain facets of the internet that I have not fully explained everything about yet. If there's one area beyond Twitch, just as a whole, if there's one area that, like, I'm always feeling confident in my G skin, the one that you see on your screen right now, it's like, I'm confident in my G skin. It's within my friends in the Sonic community. It absolutely is. And I love them for it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and you're very beautiful in the image that's on screen right now. And if you don't mind me saying, it's and if the Sonic community helped you reach that step in your journey, to be able to present yourself in that way, I think that shows the good and the immense power that this community holds for all of us.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I always try to say about Sonic, because a lot of people who aren't really as into Sonic as people like us don't really understand just how inspirational he really can be. People just think it's like, oh, he's just a silly attitude, heavy blue hedgehog that runs on the screen. Okay, fine. But for those who know the stories, whether it be the TV shows or the comics or the movies, those who really know can see just like how inspirational of a character he really, really is. If you look at if you have a moment that anybody who's ever seen, I'll even go all the way back, like, to the original Sonic games, like back then. If you look at the Japanese Mega Drive box arts for Sonic, and you look at the text that are on those boxes, there's some powerful text in there. It basically says, chase after your dreams. Don't stand there wasting your precious time. Be the you that is the best you. And it's like, that's starting from 91. He's always been like that. So it's kind of mind blowing when you really think about it. And so that's why I always tell people, it's just like, yeah, it's so much deeper than that. And now with all these there's so many characters now that are inspirational through Sonic beyond him. So many different characters. There's something for everybody. And so everybody can get a piece of this pie. Everybody can get that inspirational kick from whether it be Sonic, Knuckles, Cream, Amy, whatever. You know, it's awesome.
Do you think that the community has become so loving and accepting and supportive because there's such a wide variety of Sonic characters? Because people joke, especially in the late 2000s or in the 2010s, there's too many characters, too many characters. Well, to that I say, well, not necessarily. The more characters that we can have that represent different walks of life or, you know, personalities, I think that's generally that's a good thing. So again, I say to you, it's like, do you believe that played a role in the community being so accepting?
I believe so, yes. I think it's because in all the different areas of Sonic media, even though, yes, there are a lot of characters, but the creative staffs behind those mediums have done such a good job fleshing out those characters. I mean, going back to what you were saying around like the 2010s and somewhere around that, right? And that was this kind of that unfortunate kind of lull period for Sonic where there was a lot more bad than good in the discourse when it comes to Sonic, you know, post Sonic 06 and then the Wii games and all that stuff. That's like the quote unquote dark periods, which aren't really so dark. But the thing is that there was perspective is everything. No, I 100% agree. And it could be argued, particularly like when you look at the Archie comic and you look at a few of the others, that like, yes, there were a lot of characters that were kind of either left like off to the side, but now with the newer generation and what's really been coming through, every character has enough weight and enough backstory that there's a connection that can be made that wasn't made back then. So yeah, most definitely now, especially because with the movies, I mean, the movies really changed everything. And now it's with, you were really anticipating like who's going to be the next main character to get the film experience, and maybe even subsequently like a side story or a series or something like that. And now we know with Sonic 4, it's Amy. So, and to an extent, Metal Sonic, much love for Metal Sonic. Yeah. But to an extent of that, so now with every new piece of media, we're wondering what's going to be the next reveal, who's going to be the next character, because Sega has done such a wonderful job developing these characters prior to that we have that connection, and that connection can be even stronger when it's reintroduced in a different form. It's kind of genius. It's all going into that experience.
At that Sonic
like
experience.
It's all going into that experience. Yep.
And yeah, it's I will say with complete confidence, and the Sonic franchise is in a second renaissance. It was at its peak in the 90s, and it might be at an even higher peak than it was in the 90s now.
He's bigger than ever.
Right.
I 1,000% say like he was there in the 90s, but not even close to where he's at now. He went from being a video game icon to a pop culture icon.
Thank you.
Like just way better now, worldwide.
And people are starting to understand that more and more that aren't in tune like we are. Like the general, like Sonic is now a part of mainstream gaming again, and more to what you just said, pop culture. You know, with like you can buy Sonic virtually on anything. I saw a 4 gigabyte thumb drive, if you know, and beyond. You know, I'm not kidding. I've researched it. You know,
it's all the little small things I find whenever I'm out and about. The USB cables that I just found. It's like,
USB cables, huh?
You literally can go in a gas station, and you can see Sonic stuff now. That's just how much he's gotten out there, and it's pretty awesome.
Immense. But going back to you know, how Sonic has allowed you to grow. You know, I'll share, since you were kind enough to share, you know, with all of us here, you know, I've had quite a journey with LGBT, you know, in general and through my life. And there was at one point I discovered that I wanted to be a girl, you know, and I didn't fully understand it. And I don't think anyone ever does when they're going through that journey. You know, and at one point I was on hormones to transition. I had to stop because of life circumstances and such. And, you know, but what has helped me and saved me in a lot of different ways is that being a part of the Sonic community, I've been able to express myself in a feminine form and manner that that lets me be my true self, my authentic self. In the past, I've always wanted to do content creation in some form, and I remember I was streaming back in when Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric on the Wii U came out. I did a midnight stream, and it was immense, but I was on camera, right? I had that camera, and it wasn't as fun because I had to, my stream used all, kind of, it was just, boring colors. I didn't express myself through anything feminine. And then VTubing though popped up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the way for me. So I was able to have my original character, as you see on screen right now, represent me, and I can go online and do that. And I would say there was a tiny of hesitation, but I knew going in what the community was and how accepting and open it is in general. And I have people come into my stream and they'll say, oh my gosh, I thought you were going to be a girl, but you're a guy voicing it. Now, yes, I identify as a girl. That's okay. I don't mind someone coming and saying that. They don't know me if it's their first time. So, I don't get on people's cases like that. I am a girl.
Right,
That's how I identify. But, it's innocent. They come in, but what they follow up with usually is, I'm so impressed. I'm so happy to see you doing and presenting yourself the way you want to. And I tell them, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I've had people go to tell me, like, you've inspired me to do my own original character and get a VTuber as well, to be on screen with. So this community has always been there for me. And that's why I try to go to bat for them anytime that I can, and I get frustrated when I hear people pick on the community and say that we're negative. I'm in different fandoms. I'm a part of the Power Ranger fandom. I'm a part of Sonic, of course. I'm part of the Digimon community. I'm a part of these fandoms. And guess what? There's always those bad apples that try to make it intolerable. And it might seem like it's a lot. It's not as big as it might appear. The minority sometimes can always be the loudest, unfortunately. And that's when I mentioned earlier I started that carnival, or the Star Winter Carnival, to raise money and show the good. And we're following it up with a second one this winter. But nice. Yeah. So more to the point though, the community. I'm so happy it's had a positive effect on your journey, and mine as well. Because it's, I hope to transition in my normal day-to-day life, but in the meantime, I can come online and feel safe and present myself as I choose to. And I think that's immense part of the community. And
absolutely.
So
that's wonderful. That's wonderful for you. Because there's always going to be that nervousness whenever. So, I like to call it's funny because it's a nod on Sonic, classic Sonic, modern Sonic. It's like because most of the time when I'm either streaming or I'm at a con or something like that, I'm streaming in what I call classic G, which is, my more masculine kind of look, right? Gotcha. And then there's modern G, which is what you see here. I've been in some public spaces, I've been to some conventions in some areas that I've been in this, but I'm nervous. I'm going to be completely honest. It's like, I feel like I know in my heart that it's going to go fine, but there's always going to be that little, just like you said when you first started, there's always going to be that little bit of nervousness because you're showing something that's going to be unfamiliar to people. And then you might get new people that do come in and it's like, oh, wow, it's like, you're really pretty. Oh, wait, it's like, you're a guy. It's like, well, like I'm non-binary. And especially because like for many people who don't really know what being non-binary is, and you have to explain. Even I don't 100% know what it is, okay? That's one of the best things about it. It's like, I don't even know 100% what it is, but we're all learning together, and I'm learning myself too. It's like, it really all depends. Exactly. It's a spectrum. Exactly. Yeah. And you get those people that are very inviting, but it's like, oh, but that's awesome. They're being the true you. One of my closest friends, he's one of my best friends in the world. when the first time that he saw when I actually did go to Sonic Expo and I posted the pictures of me and in my new modern style and everything, and he sent me a message and he's just like, I've known you for 20 years and I don't think I've ever seen you look as happy as you do in those pictures.
Aw, that's awesome.
And I was like, oh, see, and that's what I hope for people like us and for a lot of people like us, that once they do feel comfortable enough and they're ready to take that next step, to understand that they do have people like us that are there for them. I mean, you're going to get your bad apples, you're going to get your trolls, you're going to get your bigots. It's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? It's 100% going to happen, but it just really depends on, you know,
Yeah,
going on and living your life the way that you want to live it. My phrase, I end every single video and every single stream with be you and be awesome. I say it every time because that's really where that comes down to. Because what's the point of trying to live a proper life if you don't feel like you can be yourself? And if you don't feel like you're being yourself, then you don't feel awesome. So be you and be awesome.
Yeah, because otherwise you feel depressed, or you don't feel like you're living up to what you feel like you're capable of, you know, because there's that weight holding you down, you know, that you need to get out from underneath of. You know, it's like I took a big step at Sonic Symphony last summer. I went with a group of friends and everything, and it was the New York City one, and my first one, by the way. But now I could have put on some jeans and a button up and just went, no big deal. But I chose to wear an Amy Rose inspired outfit. You know, I wore a red dress, you know, hairband, full makeup and everything. And I was smiling ear to ear. Now I get there, and what do fans do? There's guys and girls coming up to me saying, you look beautiful. And they didn't bat an eye. And then I sat down in our seats in the auditorium, and in front of us were it was a family, and there was a mother and her three sons, and they were like between 8 all the way up to like 17, I think, you know, between the three of them. And they turn around and they see me. Now I felt like I looked like a girl, but you know, I think you look close enough, you know, you could, they and plus my voice, right, you know, but
Of course.
they did not hesitate to just have this conversation, not like, oh, hi, okay, pleasantries. No, we had a full conversation between me, the mom, the kids, talking about Sonic. And here I am, not forgetting that I'm dressed in a dress, you know, and everything, trying to, give off the Amy Rose vibe. Amy Rose is like my favorite character, by the way.
Nice.
You know, Sonic's my boy. He's a boy. You know, he's brought us all together. You know, but I really love Amy Rose, and so of course I dressed like her in general. So anyway, but I'm having this real conversation about Sonic the Hedgehog, the games, and one of the kids, her kids, was collecting the Genesis games and chasing them down and trying to get them mint. And I was just once again just floored. So it once again, there's this like Sonic experience that is like bridging, you know, me, you know, a grown adult with this parent and their kids. We're all talking about Sonic, and not just like the modern, just the classic stuff. And I think it's just like, once again, it's so powerful that this franchise has been able to have this effect on all of us, you know, so immensely, and allowed us to be who we are, you know. And I don't think it's ever going to change. I think it's just going to get better and better, frankly.
I believe so. I think the star's going to shine bright until it eventually, but probably not during our lifetime, fades away. I think Sonic has now gotten to that echelon where he's now timeless. He's now joined the ranks of Mario and Pokemon. He's now joined that ranks. It took a while to get there, but he's there now. And
yeah,
it's great. Now I find it so funny, real quick, because I find it so funny, like you talk about like Amy Rose and being your favorite character. It's like, oh yeah, Sonic's my boy. He's here because he brings us all together. People ask me all the time, who's my favorite Sonic character? I always preface it with other than Sonic, because
Other
it's
than
just like,
Sonic,
because I
yep.
mean, because he's never gonna leave my favorite. I mean, like that's just all there's to it. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. So it's like, yeah, other than Sonic, then I have to really think about it afterwards, like who is my favorite character. And sometimes it bounces around, to be completely honest. Like sometimes my second place person moves around. Like right now it's Shadow. He's probably gonna be there for
Mm,
a good while, but it's so funny, like I forget what show it was, or it was actually no, it was a TikTok. It was a TikTok that my wife watched once, and she it was somebody who was asking multiple people how they felt about Sonic, and so many of other people talk about their favorite characters. Only one person, nobody did the whole like other than Sonic thing. They just immediately went into who their favorite character is.
okay, okay.
Only one out of like 20 people said Sonic, which is kind of crazy if you really think about it. It's not a knock on Sonic and his personality.
Yeah.
It is a showcase and strength of how deep and how diverse and how wonderful the supplemental cast is of Sonic. That there are so many characters out there that there
Yes.
literally is something for everybody. And I think
Right.
that's amazing. Now, I also have to ask one other thing too, because like you dressed up as Amy Rose for when you went to the symphony. So
Yeah.
we went to the symphony in 2023, and in San Antonio. We went to the one in San Antonio, and my wife and I, at very last minute, like super last minute, we got together as Sonic and Amy outfits from the Murderer Sonic the Hedgehog. I had the
Oh.
captain's hat and everything, because I got the captain's
Yes.
hat from a convention that I went to, and it looks exactly the same. And I had a jacket that looked like Sonic's jacket.
Nice.
And so she already had like the pink dress from Amy Rose and everything. It's like, we looked great. We looked great,
That's
and people. So
wonderful.
it made me think about that when you said that you dressed up as Amy Rose. Like that's so sweet. That's cool.
Yeah. No, you see, it's like you guys were happy and had fun. And see, again, that's just like one more opportunity that, Sonic has offered us to, be all together and just have fun with each other. No,
Yep.
I could have just went there. Okay, I got my pants and my button up on. I'm just going to go. Now, mind you, it being in a dress and, I had a wig on and I was melting. It was New York City in the summer. I felt like I was
Right.
melting, but there was a girl with us that did my makeup and everything, and she did such a wonderful job, and everything. But it felt very fulfilling. And it's true, a lot of people that experience the opportunity to dress as their authentic selves, you catch them in moments where they're smiling just naturally and in ways that you don't normally see. So, whether it's cosplay or otherwise, just getting to dress up as these characters in some capacity or otherwise, it's always so much fun. So much fun.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to touch back. The next topic I kind of was hoping to go down into is there was a point for me where I was very hesitant to talk about Sonic. Okay, because there was that dark era, so to speak, that people always say. Well, what does that mean? Well, they're talking about Sonic 06. They're talking about, how Sonic kind of fell out of relevancy, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, the hedgehog and the human kiss, blah, 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 all that malarkey, We've heard it a
Sonic's
million
had
times.
such a rough transition to 3D.
Oh,
that sort of thing.
I'm
Yeah.
just ready
That
to
old
shoot
chestnut.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh, Sonic had a rough trans. Anyway, so there's especially and actually even when I was a kid, people would be like, oh, there's the Sonic kid, because it was such a part of my life, and I was made to feel like there was something wrong about it, and I didn't understand it as a kid, and I understood like Sonic wasn't in the quote unquote dark era. It's like, okay, if I leave, when someone asked me, what games do I like, I didn't immediately jump to Sonic. I would wait to feel the other person out. I'd usually say, oh, I like a lot of platformers. I play Battlefield and stuff, and Sonic the Hedgehog was always really great and stuff, and see where that kind of nugget takes them, and it takes me and the other person. So I never really wanted to ever hide Sonic, but I felt pressured in the communities to not lead with it in a weird way, and it makes me, in hindsight, makes me feel bad you know,
Yeah.
that I hid something that was so strongly a part of me from when I was 5 years old and onward. Did you ever have to put up with that type of stuff?
I never really hid my love for Sonic. Like the thing is that I knew that we had the period because I bought Sonic 06 day one. I did. And like I played it and I was like I had that same sort of feel back like a lot of people did. Now granted, I know opinions on it have drastically changed today versus back then.
Yes.
But and there was, it seemed like aside from the portable stuff, because they were always consistently good. But then there was like another forgettable one and another forgettable one. And it didn't really seem to be an end in sight for like, when are we going to get the next legitimately great? I mean, there were some good ones, like in my opinion, Unleashed. There were some good ones, but there wasn't really that banger that we have been waiting for Sonic for a very long period of time. But whenever I was always talking about like what kind of games I enjoyed and what game franchises do I love, I pretty much still always peep Sonic. I mean, sometimes depending on, like you said, like kind of reading the room, right, to see like what kind of the interactions would be. Now, I might gauge what I'll say depending on what it is, but I don't think, I can easily say I don't really think I've ever had a time where I've hid how much I'm a fan of Sonic.
Yeah.
There might be ones where I'll talk about other games more, mind you, but I never tried to hide it away. And typically whenever we would get into that Discord of, man, Sonic hasn't been good in so long, I was like, oh yeah, well, remember when he was good? And it's like, at that time, it's like, remember when things were like, remember these good ones? That time, I would always do that. I try to spin it into like the positive, right? Into the positive instead of, because that was that period where like, you get one person chattering about how quote unquote bad a Sonic game is, and you get the next one chattering, you get the next one, you get the next one, and then you got like this multi-million subscribed YouTube channel doing Let's Plays of how bad the Sonic game is, and now everybody's like chattering through and through and through, and it became exhausting. So you're just kind of like, well, now how do I feel about Sonic, and how do I want to tell people like how I feel about Sonic? I didn't let that deter me, and even still to this day, like I mean, anybody can like clearly see that I still love Sonic. But the thing is that and that's why I always tell people, you could be a fan of something and you could be a proud fan of something while respectfully criticizing how you feel about it, right?
Yeah.
No franchise, not even Super Mario, no franchise has batted 100%. Like there's always, well, I'm not counting like Rise Star, that's like a one and done or something like that. Like games that have been around for multiple facets, none of them have batted 100%, right? And it's always going to be some stonkers somewhere, but it's all about your perspective. It's all about how you carry it. It's like, well, focus on the good rather than the questionable or the bad. Or if you're going to focus on the bad, look on the positive on it, or look at it like a humorous faction. I'm actually planning to do a little sub-series. I already started doing it on Twitch because I have a Twitch redemption for it. But I've got like a little sub-series that I'm going to be doing on YouTube called, quote unquote, The Worst Sonic Game, where I have a list of games that people have deemed to be like the worst ever, and I give them a full, wholehearted chance in a review to determine, is this really the worst? And then I will rank it on a particular scale on it. There are some games in there that are not bad games, but people have said that it is. And so I want to try to dispel it, in my personal opinion. Now, of course, you play it, you don't like it, of course, that's all good. You've experienced yourself. That's the main thing I would love for people to do, experience it yourself. But but at the same token, like I have never really felt ashamed. There have been times where I've like, well, okay, you'll get him next time, Sonic. It's okay. It's like, oh man, yes. Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric came out. It's like, oh man, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like I'm just patting him on the back. It's like, it's okay, buddy. We believe in you. You'll get him next time. Yeah. And then Sonic Generations comes out and just like, well, bang, home run. There you go. You got it.
Yes. What a relief between Colors and Generations.
I love Generations Colors too. Yeah. Man, I love Colors too.
Those are powerful. Like that was the turning point in the 2010s. It's so funny because, and it's like going back and experiencing some of those again, you look at it from a different light. Like for the longest time, I didn't really bash. Okay, wrong choice of words. I kind of skirted around my opinions on the storybook Sonic games, Sonic and the Secret Ring, Sonic and the Black Knight. Right, I kind of skirted around it because I remember playing them when I was younger, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like these at all." And even though I did play
at least Black Knight through. I didn't give Secret Rings a chance when I was young. I'm just going to be completely real. I didn't. I played it for maybe like 20 minutes and then I put it down. I was like, no. So every year I do what's known as G-Con. It's my annual like Twitch subathon event to commemorate my stream anniversary and everything. And the last couple of years I've had it center around Sonic. And so I want to do like all mainline Sonic games. And so we got to Sonic and the Secret Rings. Oh, and I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. And then I walked away from it. Like I finished the whole game and then I walked away from it. And I was like, I actually had fun. Is the game good? No, but
right.
I actually had fun. It was more of the, okay, this is rough, but I'm intrigued enough. And this is so imaginative and so unique enough that I want to continue to keep going. Like I want to keep seeing what's next. And final boss notwithstanding, I walked away from it feeling satisfied. And it's on my list of the worst Sonic games. And I was just like, is this? No, absolutely not. And now I kind of do tell people ask me about the Secret Rings. I'm like, just try it.
Just give it a shot.
You might hate it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like, just try it. You might find that little bit of joy, you know, like that extra little bit of like, even though it's so absurd that like, I kind of loved it in that sense. Mm-hmm. But you know, your mileage may vary depending on who you are. But right. Yeah, so going back to your question, no, there really isn't a point in time where I really felt like I wanted to hide how much of a fan of Sonic I am, especially now more than ever.
It's interesting, you know, because I've met people with similar experiences to me where they had this era where they were just like, they hesitated because of the stigma that had grown around it. And I regret it because it's like never should ever hide what your passions are. But, you know, I think what happened to me, going back to like school and stuff, people were, oh goodness, just sometimes the bullying around certain things. I even had a teacher that came to me. I swear on the Bible that it was break time, and during break time in school, I would doodle, I would draw, and of course I would draw Sonic. I actually have a whole bin from when I was a kid of Sonic comics that I drew about just random things. Yeah. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, they've survived. You know, they're still downstairs in a plastic bin. You know, safe with other '90s Sonic merch that I need to get actually, you know, brought up and cleaned up before it truly gets lost to time. But she said to me, the teacher, she looked at me and like my very young, I think I was 8. Doesn't matter. She told me Sonic is dead and took away my pencil.
Oh,
and I was like,
what?
I swear to God.
Like, excuse me?
Yeah. And then, you know, of course, my mom heard about that. It was like, Sonic is his thing. He can draw so long as he's not like ignoring, like, as long as it's his break time and his work is done, like, he should be able to just do what he wants, you know. So of course, you know, that was big to do, you know, and then that set a stigma because she did it in front of the whole class. So then like the kids would be like bully, Sonic kid over there, you know. So you know, and I think those unfortunate moments kind of carried me into my teenage young adult world, where and these quote unquote dark era where, you know, it kind of made me hesitant. I'm proud to say that I've come away from that, far away from that now, that I don't care. Like, yeah, what do I play? I play Sonic, you know, and I've gotten over those feelings of being bullied about it. You know, now, did you have siblings in your family at all growing up, or were you a single child, if you don't mind?
No, I have a sister. I have an older sister.
And how, so were they playing Sonic and stuff with you too when you were growing up?
Not really. The thing is, the funny thing is that my sister played games with me. She loved Super Mario. She did not like Sonic.
Oh.
She didn't like playing. She liked watching me play Sonic, but she didn't actually actively like Sonic. And what's so funny, let me breach into that real quick. So yeah, because she's slightly older. She's a couple of years older than me. And we used to play games together. And we kind of split off after when she went to college. And I kept playing video games. But then after that, once she went to college and afterwards and beyond, she kind of stopped. Aside from she had a Nintendo DS that she would play every now and then. She played Brain Age and all that good stuff, but she wouldn't really play any games like the ones that we used to growing up. She now has a son. He's about to be 6 years old in 2 months. And it's like, she now has a little boy who the very first year that he came into this earth, and I came by for holiday, I went by for Christmas, and just for funsies, I had like a little extra Sonic plush that I wanted to give him. And it's like, I just gave him the little Sonic plush, and his eyes like lit up. It's like his eyes lit up, and he's like, it's like this, because he couldn't talk yet. But like he just grew so attached to that Sonic plush, like he had made a friend for life. And my sister, because my sister knows fully well how deep I am into like Sonic and everything, and she just gives me this stare from like the side distance to stare. She's like, "What are you doing to my son?" And I was like, "What? What? I didn't do anything." Oh, no. Like, this is like you starting him off early, huh? I was like, I didn't do anything. It's just an extra plush I had, and I thought that he would enjoy it, right? Turns out now, years later, he does like Sonic. Now, granted, like he likes other things too, like he likes Bluey and Cars and all that stuff. But he does also love Sonic. So I feel like I always try to sneak in, like whenever I do give him gifts and whatnot, I do always try to sneak in like one little Sonic thing, like to give to him. Like we had these RC Sonic cars.
I got the Sonic, so here's some trading cards. Like,
right. So we'll open it up like during gifts time, and like every single year since then, like the Sonic item that pops out of the gift, and my sister will give me that same look, just like.
Listen, you're trying to put him on the path. Listen, it's a strong path. Gosh, that's awesome.
I can't help it that he's fun and endearing. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's really cute. That's cute. I've done the same with my nephews and nieces and so on. And, it's trying to influence, and with varying success, right. But actually, I've got a kid of my own that I'm trying to introduce to Sonic and everything. And I think my kid is at the point of where they're tolerating my trying to get them into Sonic. It's pretty cute. But I think it'll spark eventually.
I gotcha. How old is your child, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, of course. They are 7 years old. They'll be 8 in August.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
they're at that level where they start really realizing what they're into as far as like characters, video games, TV shows, comic books, all that stuff, that they're really starting to grasp into it. So I wonder if maybe like the movies and everything might start to melt that, because I know it did for my nephew, like, because he really enjoyed the Sonic movies. Because he doesn't sit still through very many movies. Oh, that's one of the ones that he was like sat still and just really was just all in. And
I didn't watch a lot of movies when I was a kid, frankly. And the ones that I did was like Power Rangers, or I remember going to see The Lion King and Casper, and or a Goofy movie and so on and so on. But I will say my kid loves the third Sonic movie with the Gerald Robotnik and the exchanges that Robotnik and Gerald have. That is just gold. Yep. They're actually laughing to themselves watching those scenes. And then they like this action Sonic stuff, but it's like, I almost think like for my kid, it's the Robotnik and Gerald scenes in that movie that get them go. Now, they do laugh when they see Knuckles. I showed them the first episode of the Knuckles series, and Knuckles is talking to their dog, Ozzy, and it's like, you must have steel, like focus or something to the dog. And it keeps cutting between Knuckles and the dog, and my kid thought that was funny, and I thought it was funny. I was laughing my butt off too. It's interesting because going back to your earlier comment, like the movies and stuff have changed everything, and they've ushered in this new renaissance of Sonic and so on. So it's like, they're less into the games though, my kid, and more into the media. I've gotten them to watch the movies and some other things, and and they're 7. They're still strong on that Paw Patrol, that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So my nephew's not playing games just yet. Like my sister's not really ready for him to experience games just yet. But I told her, it's like, well, if he's ready, like whenever he's ready, be prepared because he's gonna get spoiled.
Gonna get spoiled.
Uncle G is gonna spoil them.
Uncle G, yo, let's go.
Well, that's what he calls me. It's like Uncle G. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's really precious. That's precious. And I say that my kid really likes the Mario movie to death, and Yoshi. Like he watched a documentary, 15-minute YouTube video all about Yoshi having different voices from the early 90s into now. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, of all the things I try to get this kid to watch, and they're watching a whole bit about Yoshi's voice, and they're 7. And I'm like, I mean, hey, who am I to get in the way? Like, like go for it.
Right.
Like I will hype this train for you, my child.
When I was that age, I loved Yoshi too.
Well, yeah. And
sorry.
Awesome. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
But it's so funny because like you're talking about the Mario movie, that reminds me of like going to go see movies when I was young. My parents took me to go see the original Super Mario Brothers movie. The Bob Hoskins one.
Ooh.
And this is a hilarious story. My sister just laughed at me the entire time when it was happening because we all went to go see it. My mom, my dad, my sister, and me. The scene where Yoshi got revealed. I was so much of a fan of Yoshi. I was inconsolable. I bawled my eyes out. I was screeching like I was in terror by what they had done to Yoshi. And my mom had to bring me outside. Of the theater to calm me down, and my sister is just pointing and laughing the entire time, like while it's happening, and it's just like, oh, it's like, you feeling okay? Yeah. Do you want to go back in? No.
Yeah.
No. You want to go home? Yeah. Let's go home. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No. Yoshi was just he was like a raptor.
Mm-hmm.
A baby rat. I'm like, what? I get it now, why they did that, but I also don't like it's anyway, that's a whole can of worms we could go into.
But I thought it was funny because you were talking about like about your child that age. Yeah. And I was roughly around that same age when that happened. So it's like, oh yeah.
Pretty wild.
So they've got it good.
Yeah.
But no, it's all good.
Like,
so. The new Mario movie was good.
No, the new Mario movie was very good. It's like, imagine the concept of if you make the movie about what the game was and is, people like that.
Exactly.
What a concept they finally have arrived at. And the Sonic movies, I think the world of them. There are things that I would change or do different. I think most of us would change some stuff about them, but I'd say they're like 90%. They hit the mark. They started very safe. They gave us a healthy dose of Sonic lore and game centric themed stuff in the second one. Like they really drove it home for us. And then the third, just wow, just mind blowing what we got in that movie. What a great
it just shows it just shows when you have the right people with the right passion in the helms of that, and not just a board of directors or executives coming down and like trying to change a lot of things. The Sonic movies have proven that like you give the right people the creative freedom, even if you're not like 100% playing to the source material, which honestly you shouldn't. There are always going to be like some sort of cultural differences or some things that might need to be changed. I totally get that. But as long as it's within reason, right? And the Sonic movies, I think, have done that. I guess really my only kind of quirk, I'm not going to say was ever like, it's not a bad thing at all. It's just more of a, why did they do this sort of thing is, my question is, why did they completely jump Sonic Adventure 1? Was kind of my thing. I understand they wanted to get the shadow quicker. Like, I get that, but
sure.
It's like, so we've just completely kind of jumped chaos? Like what? So I'm wondering where and how, and I think Sonic 4 is going to be the first step of it because, Sonic CD. It's like that's going to be the first step of it. It's like where how are they going to weave it into the world that's already been built with Sonic Adventure 2? Not to mention the post-credit scene that happened with that. So now you gotta go through and wedge that into there. So it's like, at that point, you might need more than just the movie. You might need more side stories. You might need more stuff beyond that, because now the character pool is starting to get large. But when that character pool starts getting large, more people start getting connected because more of their favorite characters start getting involved. Like going back to my wife, right? It's like her favorite character is Knuckles. So when we sat down, we got Paramount Plus and we watched the Knuckles series and we finally started watching it. She was on cloud nine the entire time. Like she absolutely loved it because she was just like finally getting some sort of major representation of her favorite character. So for those like you, for example, Amy Rose is your favorite character. And so when the Sonic 4 movie comes around, and she's going to get that big representation. And that's why I think the possibilities are really endless.
Yes,
right?
Please say
it's awesome.
Please say endless. I was like,
endless possibilities.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. No, I agree with you 100%, 1000%, in fact. So, G, we've covered many topics tonight. We've talked about nostalgia. We've talked about our, careers as content creators. We've talked about gender identity, and childhood and beyond. So what I want to bring it back to is some pure Sonic fun. So we're going to play a quick game, and round this out. So I'm going to give you 1 minute, right? And I'm going to run through rapid fire questions, and we're going to see how many questions we can get through. Okay, in 1 minute.
Bonus round. All right, let's go.
Bonus round, essentially. So timer starts as soon as I start reading the question. So I'm gonna try to do this as quickly as possible for you, so you can get to your answer. All right. So good luck to you. Let's see what happens. All right. All right. So starting now, what's your power up of choice? Speed shoes or invincibility?
Speed shoes.
Which Sonic zone would you build a vacation home in?
Seaside Hill.
Who's more stylish, Rouge the Bat or Jet the Hawk?
Rouge the Bat.
If you could turn any food into a ring-powered item, what would it be?
Oh, caramels. I don't know.
Yeah, no, great. You're trapped in a boss fight. What song from any Sonic game is your hype theme?
Is my hype theme when I'm trapped in a boss fight? I'd probably say the original Invincibility song from Sonic 3. The original, not Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3.
What's the most underrated Sonic game ever?
So most underrated one ever. Oh goodness. Oh, why am I trapping now? Oh goodness. What? Sega Sonic the arcade game. I don't know.
Ooh, okay. And that's time.
A quick one,
that's time.
That was good. That's time. Dang.
Yes,
sorry.
ding.
I got trapped in that last one. I was like, oh no, you got me.
That's tricky. That's tricky. That's why I put it right in the middle of the sequence there. You made it to 6. You went a few seconds over, but I was like, no, I'll let you have that one. Cool. Awesome. I was hoping we could have. I'm gonna give you one more bonus question. All right, because I really wanted you to answer it. Which badnik do you secretly think is kind of cute?
Oh, what badnik do I secretly think is kind of cute? That's another really tricky one. I mean, I've always thought that like original Coconuts was always cute.
Oh,
from Sonic 2. Yeah. I always thought original Coconuts was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, it's a Sega monkey after all.
It's a Sega monkey.
I mean, Sega knows a thing about making cute monkeys. Am I right?
Darn it, they really do. They really do. Yeah. For the record, I will go with Splats. I think that's a really cute badge.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Splats. That's a good one. Got wasn't in the first game, but they finally got their time. When did they popped up in Mania? I think they did. I know they were in Lost World for that matter, but yeah, they finally got their time to shine.
I think honorable mention Ball Hog. Ball Hog is another one I always thought was super cute.
Ball Hog. I don't remember. Which one is that?
That's the pink pig all the way from
pink
Sonic 1.
pig.
Yep.
The pink pig. Oh, my nemesis. Okay.
G Wiz, like G points out, the original, like classic Sonic characters is their favorite. G, I wonder why.
That's awesome. That yeah. No.
Yeah.
Teehee, you know.
Teehee, indeed.
Teehee. All right. So now we have one more thing that we're gonna do. Let me. Yes. Okay. So we're doing the 1 minute timer once again. Okay. And
Okay.
what I want you to do for this is, you have 1 minute, okay, to pitch to the Sega executives a Sonic game. You need a title, a gameplay gimmick, and what kind of soundtrack it should, be in general. Whether it's, you can give an example of another game and what kind of vibe that it had, it's in its soundtrack. You could reference it like that if you wanted. But so title, gimmick, soundtrack. That's what you're pitching to these Sega execs. And you are going to have a minute starting now.
Silver the Hedgehog. Here's my pitch. Silver the Hedgehog, but basically it's something akin of like a classic Sonic game, but with a twist. Imagine something like Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, where Silver will be able to use his time powers to be able to manipulate time, whether it be to solve puzzles or to defeat enemies or figure out your ways through the stages, whether it be through climbing walls or bouncing off walls or however, and interacting with different elements. And then that will also change the story, so you can have multiple story arcs depending on how you change time. So it introduces multiple endings depending on how long that you want to do it. Have that sort of like Sonic 06 visual sort of style, but I want like an audio style like Sonic and the Secret Rings. I want it to have like a little bit of hype, and not quite orchestral, but have that little tiny bit of hip hop influence in there, just a little bit.
That's it. 53 seconds, under a minute.
It's so funny. I've been talking about that for a long time. It's like when you first started asking this question, I was like, oh, I already have an answer.
I'm like, no, this was. Did you get my questions ahead of time? Who leaked these? Like, what are we doing here? I had a pretty loose script that I'm kind of, adhering to here, but it's like, dang, you were fully rehearsed and ready to go on that. Good job.
Because I've been wanting that. I think I originally said that in a video like 6 or 7 years ago, that if I could have any kind of Sonic game, what I want, like I want Silver to get his own game, and I want it to be that's kind of to where like it doesn't have the pacing, like it doesn't always have to be a hey, get from basketball point A to point B. Though some stages would be like that. It would be a lot more of a mind bender and everything. Because I love Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. So I was like, imagine that kind of concept, but in a Sonic game, and what character to do that better than Silver? Because that's literally his entire gimmick. And you could even add Blaze DLC. So Blaze can get some love.
There, now you really got me. Love me some Blaze.
Blaze needs all the love in the world. I love Blaze too.
Yeah, I really wish Blaze could have gotten more attention in the franchise as a whole. But but that's another can of worms. So I think we've reached the conclusion here. Now, G, first and foremost, thank you for sharing so much about your life and the experience that you've had through Sonic. I always like to say is that Sonic the Hedgehog, whether he's your favorite character in the franchise, whether or not he's how you discovered the franchise, there's so many things that have given us, these opportunities to connect is really the big point. And that's what I think makes up the Sonic experience, cartoons, comics, video games, merchandise, conventions, everything that has brought us together. And me and you today, that we were able to connect in this way, all because of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think that's a powerful, wonderful thing that needs to be shared. And so I thank you for being here, G. It was quite the conversation.
It was wonderful. I appreciate you bringing me in, and especially to be as your first guest. I can't wait to see what else you're going to be doing with this series. It's going to be great.
Oh, yes.
But thank you again.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to give you the floor before we end. Can you please tell the audience what you have going on? What's your current projects? What do you want to shout out? We'll make sure to put any special links in the description below. But what do you got going on in your life right now that you want to share?
All right, so you can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet at G to the next level. Twitch, basically, I'm on there 4 days a week, unless I'm at a convention or an event. I'm there 4 days a week, Saturdays through Tuesdays. Saturdays, I do what's known as Sonic and Sega Saturdays. That's typically where I stream Sonic stuff, but not limited to Sonic. I am a Sonic Rumble creator, so I've been doing a lot of Sonic Rumble stuff. But on top of that, I also do like, kind of offshoot Sonic games, like hacks, that sort of thing. I love doing like the unique and quirky stuff on those Saturdays, or it'll be something Sega related, like something around there. And then Sundays through Tuesdays, that's when I do my Growing Up Genesis streams, where I'm doing the entire Sega Genesis library in mostly alphabetical order from A to Z. We're closing up the letter R as of this recording. Like, we're closing up the letter R. And it's been a blast going all the way through. And once Genesis is done, we're going to move on to the next Sega console. Do Sega CD, 32X, Saturn, Dreamcast, maybe even the Sega Pico. How will we do this? You'll find out if you stick around. But that's Twitch. YouTube, I've actually got some new stuff coming out on YouTube. So youtube.com/G to the next level. I've got some more Sonic voice acting interviews that are going to be coming through the pipeline. I just put out the panel that I did at Game On Expo when I was a guest there with our panel I emceed there with Jason Griffith and Erica Schroeder. I do have a one-on-one interview with Erica Schroeder coming very soon. We were just talking about Blaze. So I have an interview with her coming very soon. The YouTube Growing Up Genesis A to Z series will continue on. That's what's coming up next. So again, as of this recording, part 2 of the 32X A to Z, which is a 2-parter because that library is so small. That should be releasing this weekend. So that should be this weekend. More shorts are coming through. And Instagram and TikTok at G to the next level. I post like my random and quirkiest Sonic finds, or even stuff like you ask me things you want to see or know the stories about my own collection. You'll find them in short bite-sized form there. And I think as far as my content goes, that's roughly about it. I'm going to be at a few conventions near you pretty soon. I'm going to be at Comic Palooza in Houston at the end of June. Southeast Game Exchange in July. I'll be at Sonic Expo Atlanta in August. And in Dallas in November, and several other different conventions. Just, you can pretty much find me anywhere. If you see me, I am a hugger, so I'm okay with hugs. So like all that good stuff. But yeah, that's how you can find me.
That's excellent. Well, G to the next level. Thank you once again for being on the podcast, The Sonic Experience with Sora Starlight. And thank you all for tuning in today. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Let's go, Sora!
Testing 1 2 3. I think we're live, everybody.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yo!
Testing 1 2 3. Let me know if you guys can hear all of us. I'm joined with Trixie and Shino right now, and we have Johnny.
Johnny,
as
who's
well.
like
Yep.
hiding behind me. Quit sniffing my hair.
I'm not you. You sat in my lap, dude. I was sitting in this chair. You came
I was
over
not
like a
sitting
bubble
in your lap.
Yes,
you
you
came
were.
back here and sniffed my hair. How
Oh,
dare
honking.
you?
I've been
Look,
sitting here since Sonic Lost World 3DS. I'll have you know.
he's just trying to prove if the mint rumors are true.
Yeah, what's up with that? The mint root. Wait, what?
Now,
The,
please
the,
don't
like
mind.
the double mint
Get off
gum?
my seat. That'd be great, Shino.
Listen, my hair shampoo has mint scent in it. That's all I'm gonna say. And that's all I'm gonna say. Yes, and that is the
Nice.
truth.
Nice.
Yes.
Excellent. So everybody, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break because I need to go potty and such and stretch my legs. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna do a quick Q&A, and then I'm gonna show off some Sonic Blitz as well. So we're gonna do a little bit more here before we call it a night. So I'm gonna take us to a be right back screen, and then we'll go from there. And we're gonna try and pull G to the next level in here if they're still up and online. Yeah, I see you in chat actually. Yeah. All right, cool. So I will be right back, everybody.
All right, see you in a bit.
All right.
Go piss, girl.
Let me.
Hey, Shino.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. Sorry about the quick intermission there. For those just tuning in, I'm Sora Starlight. I'm a variety VTuber streamer. We're broadcasting to 109 viewers tonight. Tonight was the very first premiere episode of the Sonic Experience, and we featured the first guest, G to the next level. They're in our chat right now. We're gonna do a quick Q&A from you guys out in the chat. So G, if you feel so inclined, if you want to pop into my stream channel, we'll get you in here. We won't take too much of your time, but we'll let you have the floor, and we'll see if we can pop off a couple questions that anybody might have for you.
Does G have access, or we're gonna have to drag them in here?
I gave them VIP, actually, so they can see me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I put that permission on my channel because I'm like, I realized if any of the VIPs want to come and crash the stream, like, they can't. So I'm like, screw that. I want chaos. You know? So
you invite chaos into your life?
More than I already create.
If you want to invite chaos into your life, say hello to Sora Starlight.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome G to the next level. Hey, buddy, thanks for being here.
Hello.
Hey, G.
Hello, G. It's an honor to meet you.
It's an honor to meet y'all too.
Oh, and yeah, let me grab your reactive. Do you have a smaller image on your reactive, G, that I can throw up on screen?
A smaller one?
Or I can
hold on one second. I might be able to.
Yeah, no pressure. I'll use whatever you got.
Because I'm wondering if maybe my other two, because I have a few models in Reactive or Discord Reactive that maybe, I wonder if this one might be a little bit smaller. No, it's not. It's not any smaller. So I was looking to see if it was any smaller than the one that I had before. Okay, sorry about that. I wish I'd known. I would have made this one smaller for you.
No, you know what? It fits perfect. We're good. We're
yeah,
good.
that actually works, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, so, all right. So I had a lot of fun with that. And I was, I was, of course, nervous. It was the first episode. I think despite some of the things I might want to change about it, I think we still accomplished what I wanted and having a kind of an honest kind of back and forth with you. So I hope you had fun.
Oh, I had a blast.
This is your chance,
it was wonderful.
Like, yeah, it was so much fun,
I'm just saying. I'm just like, I had a little bit of a good time. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a tad. Just a tad.
No, seriously, I had a great time, Sora. It was wonderful.
That's kind of you. I really appreciate it. Do you have any takeaway like that you want to, after we just sat through almost 2 hours of the conference. So me and you collectively almost 4 hours.
I guess really takeaways that I don't really have much of anything. I guess I could say is because I've been on several. I'm not trying to toot horns or anything, but I've been on like several podcasts or conversations or even panels or anything like that, and just because the questions that you asked me were ones that I had never been asked in any sort of like a public style before, or several of them really, and that's what I really appreciate. I appreciate you like going above and beyond, like really, like that's awesome.
Oh, well, you know what? That I'm really happy to hear that because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want this to be a by the way, audio check. Everybody can hear G and everybody, no problem, right? Let me know. Okay, cool. It sounds good, Trixie. Thank you. So yeah, no, I wanted to go into this and not ask so how did you just XYZ or just the same old questions that you usually would see in a normal interview format, or God forbid, what people are pulling from AI, auto-generated stuff probably these days. I'm not knocking
the template,
AI.
so to speak.
Yeah, template. Like AI, I don't mind AI in general as long as if you use it, make it your own. Like just don't leave it, verbatim what the machine spits out. But I digress. No, but that was the goal, and I'm happy to hear that kind of feedback, and I appreciate it. So let's turn to the chat though. Do we got sort of like so here, Kevin? I think I see a question.
There's a couple.
Yeah, or did I miss any above that? Hang on.
Yeah. Per Nutter has one.
Oh, okay. Planet Wisp. I'm not where is he?
It's right above it's right above Johnny's text before
G.
Kevin.
Yes, I see it now. Oh gosh, I should have been a bat OC. What are your favorite Sonic games from each decade? 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Wow. All right.
Ooh, okay. So 90s is easy. Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is my favorite Sonic game of all time.
Woo!
Like easy. The 2000s probably gonna be Sonic Adventure 2, and that seems like just like a standard kind of answer, but it always comes back to Sonic Adventure 2. That was the one that really pushed it into my next level of enjoyment of the franchise, of Sonic as a whole. And it's so funny because like Adventure 2 is one of those games that like I played it a lot on the Dreamcast. I bought it day one, I beat it day one, like I did everything when I bought it back in the day on the Dreamcast. And then I got it again on the GameCube later on, and then I got it on the Xbox 360 later on. And then it's just like every single time. And then I played it again recently, not for this year's G-Con event, but last year. And it's like every single time I find a new reason to smile, and I find something different and unique, and that's why that game just it rocks. That's my favorite of the 2000s era. Of the 2010s, I'd probably say hold on, because that's not 2010s. I have to double check.
Sometimes
The
it's a
date on the
blur.
release of one of
Yeah.
them. That's 2005. Okay, second. Okay, strong close second for 2000. Sonic Rush. That would be my second favorite in 2000s.
Sonic Rush.
Love Sonic Rush.
Yeah, me too. That got me back into a hiatus that I had been in for Sonic. So that was like after Adventure Battle 2 that I was able to get on the GameCube. Sonic Rush was my next, and
I love
the
Rush.
heck out of it. Man,
Wonderful game.
Good pick,
One of my
yeah.
favorite soundtracks in all of Sonic too. Hideki
Oh.
Nakanuma. Yeah, Jet Set
You-
Radio, baby. Yep. 2010s, and I would say Sonic Colors. And we talk about colors in the show. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, Colors is another one that I feel because of the what happened with the Wii games before it, I still felt like that Colors didn't really get the love that it really needed. Shout out to Colors DS too. Colors DS is also excellent.
Oh, I
But,
just played that recently.
but the Wii
Colors
one-
DS. That's kind of a Rush game in and of itself. So
Pretty much. It
kind of
could
a good
really be
game.
Sonic Rush 3. It really could be.
Yeah.
If you think
Right.
about it. And then 2020s, man, Sonic X Shadow Generations. Sonic X Shadow Gen. Easily. Oh,
I can
I-
agree with
solid.
you wholeheartedly on that.
man. So I love the original Generations. Like it was my second favorite Sonic game of all time until X Shadow, right?
Yeah.
And like even people who watch me on stream, without giving spoilers for those who have never seen it, if you see the ending on, I literally cried. I cried, and I went from being just my experience playing through that game. I went from Shadow's pretty cool, he is pretty cool, to oh my goodness, I love Shadow. That
Aw.
was the
A lot
tipping
of
point to it.
people.
And then the movie tossed him into like, into
Yeah.
my arms, like just Shadow rolls.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's like,
I think a lot
yes.
of people feel that way. Yeah, it was. Let me tell you, the games you mentioned were, I think, a lot of the pivotal moments in the franchise. Frankly, so yeah, no, that solid list. Yeah,
I would
Shadows.
100% agree.
Mhm.
I 100%
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I dare say that 2024, the year of Shadow, was a very successful year. Sonic X Shadow Generations, the movie, and just seeing like a whole new generation of younger fans becoming Shadow the Hedgehog fans and just really falling in love with the character. It kind of brings me back to when I first discovered him back in 2002 with the Sonic Adventure 2 battle on the GameCube, and it's such a refreshing sight to see. And I'm just so glad to see that
Nice.
Shadow is getting the due justice that he deserves, and I think it's a wonderful thing. So all hail Shadow.
All hail Shadow.
There
Yes.
goes Rise again.
Yo,
You're right.
that's sweet. That's sweet. Feels good. Yeah, that was a good year. It was a good year. Hey, Kevin says, thanks for giving me the opportunity to work with you, too, on helping to put this together. I'm happy the first episode went well. Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
I did mention to you in our off broadcast that night, Kevin had suggested you and how wonderful you were to work with. So
Absolutely.
Let's
Yeah.
go,
Much,
Kevin.
much love to Kevin. Thank you
go,
so much. It's
Kevin.
worked so
Yay,
hard. Much love.
Kevin.
yeah, Kevin's one of those guys. One of the most positive, hard working within the community person I've had the pleasure of meeting in the last year. So
Kevin's a gem. Kevin's an
yeah.
absolute gem.
Agreed.
100%. My question to G, this is from Kevin and Sora. Any topic during the podcast you really enjoy talking about the most? I'll let you go first, G.
Oh, probably just about exploration of finding yourself through Sonic. When we started talking about that, that's really, because anytime I get a chance to talk about just the influence that Sonic can have,
Yeah.
like the positive influence that Sonic can have to encourage people to find themselves, and once they find themselves, to be themselves 100%. And that's probably my favorite conversation that we had on. I mean, it's hard to pick one, but that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's when we really connected. I think in the grand scheme of it, it's talking about our childhood to some degree, and how we first encountered Sonic the Hedgehog, I think was powerful too. But finding ourselves, like you're saying, yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Scrolling. Sonic Adventures 1. Across the board. I think those were the questions so far. So unless anyone else in chat wants to pop one up, Shino, Trixie, Johnny, if you wanted to throw anything out there, please do.
Well, so you mentioned that with the classic era, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 being one of your all-time favorites. So I personally have a tie between Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic 2. For Sonic 3, I definitely like the how much bigger the game is and more and everything. But Sonic 2 for me always had special memories. Is there something about Sonic the Hedgehog 2 specifically that stands out to you more than any of the other classic games? Is there a specific thing that happens in the game or a memory surrounding Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that grabs you the most?
Oh, I think really to think about too is, because to me, what I love about classic Sonic, like more than anything, is the flow of the action. Whether it be like through the level design, the flow, and how you can keep moving, because like the main people go back to sometimes who might have started later in the Sonic series and go back to the classic series and think that it's just, gotta going from fast from point A to point B and getting there. Meanwhile, there's a lot to explore and a lot to do. Meanwhile, I found that like Sonic 1 kind of started it. Sonic 3 got really huge in expansion. And don't get me wrong, I totally understand why people like you just mentioned, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is their favorites, like out of anything. And it's one of mine too. Like I love it. But there's something about the flow of Sonic 2 that really just grabs me, like out of anything. Like I felt that I felt like it had the most solid and most fun level design. Like out of all of them, to me, it was kind of the perfect length. Like it wasn't too short, it wasn't too long. It had like the perfect kind of challenge level. I love the bonus rounds. Like I love the music, and then to cap off everything, the greatest sidekick ever, Tails.
Absolutely,
the greatest.
Absolutely. And Sonic 2, for me, like I have to agree with you 100%. From level design, from level design. Another thing that really stands out for me personally with that game is its soundtrack. From A to Z, from beginning to end, every song that was chosen for that soundtrack is perfect.
Oops, all bangers. All bangers. Yes. All of them.
Like that's what they should call the album.
Together.
That's what they should call the album, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Oops, All Bangers. Like that should actually be the name of the album. But I think for me, Sonic 2 especially stands out because this is a short story that I've shared with chat and here in Sora's channel and everywhere that I go, is that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the very first video game that I actually completed. It's the first time I ever beaten the final boss, and I had that proud sense of victory. And I remember running into my brother's room and telling him, like, I just beat Sonic 2. And he's like, no way. We run into the room, we watch the ending together, and we're cheering, and we're like, yeah. And then I run downstairs, and I go to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I beat my first game. I beat Sonic 2. That's great, son. That's great. you go. She was nice about it. But in my mind, I'm like, she doesn't care. Anyways, yay, Sonic 2. but yeah,
that's so sweet.
That will always be a standout moment for me. And I remember it was either I think it was my 4th grade year, and I was living in Northern California on an Air Force base in my upstairs bedroom when it happened, and it was daylight outside. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget where I was and what was going on at that time.
Nice. I do have one childhood memory of Sonic 2. And so from when it originally came out, y'all remember Sonic Tuesday? And they made the whole big thing about Sonic Tuesday. I distinctly remember my parents taking me like after school that day to go to I don't know if they're around where you are, but there's a department store called Macy's.
Yes.
You know Macy's? Yeah, cool. So my parents used to shop there like all the time, and they remember seeing their magazine advertise. I mean, not magazine, the newspaper, like in our local newspaper advertisement, the big old thing. It said, "Get Sonic 2 at a special discount if you come get it on Tuesday at Macy's." And so I remember that day vividly, and I was just glued to the TV all night long, just trying to find every single secret, explore everything that I can. My sister, even though my sister might not have been the biggest fan of Sonic, but every now and then, like, she was cool with playing as Tails. Like, every now and then. She was cool picking up the second controller and playing as Tails. But on my wall in my classic Sonic collection, and you'll see it actually, it's like you'll see it like in my YouTube video that with my classic Sonic collection, I framed and I kept that newspaper article that has the advertisement for that Macy's. I still have it. So
Wow.
it's a fond memory and a keepsake in my collection.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's in
that
the
is
video
precious.
there. You have it framed, in fact, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
That is
whole
that is
thing.
precious. Do not lose that.
Oh,
Nope.
I wish
nope.
I was
That's
old
coming to
enough
me.
You know, I was only like 6 when Sonic 2 came out. That's my favorite game for all the same reasons you mentioned, G. You know, and really sealed it when Sonic's falling from the sky and Tails catches him, and Sweet Dreams are, you know, playing in the background, and just like, oh my gosh, I remember where I was when I got the game at Christmas. So I didn't get it when it came out, but I mean, well, a month later, right? But because it was November, wasn't it? It was a November. The Sonic
November
Tuesday,
18th, I think.
yeah, so I got it a month later, give or take, right? You know, but I remember being in the house, the feel when I turned that on and I saw Sonic run across the screen, and the little stool that I would sit in front of the, you know, the TV. Wow, it's just good times, good times. Sonic 2 is wonderful. Johnny Trixie, did you want to chime in?
Yeah.
I got it.
I know you're an avid collector of all Sonic merchandise and memorabilia and whatnot. Is there that one item that you're looking for that you just wish that could just be available, that you can just get it? Like when it appears, you would just go, "Yep, that's mine. I'm getting it," and you would give anything to get it.
Oh man. So the thing is, if you had asked me that question a year ago, I would have given you like a real quick answer. But due to the success of like my G-Con subathon last year, and I found a really good deal on it, I managed to actually get it. I would have told you the Sonic Generations Collector's Edition, the one that was never released in North America. That was only in Europe and Japan.
I have
And
it. I bought that
you
too.
have it?
I have it
Nice.
sealed. Yo, high
Oh,
fives.
it's sealed? Oh,
Well,
air
not
high
sealed. I
five.
opened
Yeah.
it. I opened it and I looked at everything once, and then I shut it. I looked at it
Oh.
once and then I shut it.
I got you. That statue is on my shelf in my modern collection now. And it's like
Oh.
I now I finally have that. So
Gosh.
now that I have that, there's another key piece in my collection. And I know that's one that immediately pops in my head. It's so dumb. It's so dumb, but and I know it can't be really expensive, but I just want it. And also because part of me is wait, did we talk? Well, I talked about my dad being a golfer, but I used to golf too. That official Sonic golfing bag. With the whole with the furry Sonic outline on the outside, like the blue fur, like on the outside of the golfing bag.
Yeah,
And I was
think
just
I've
like,
seen
I
that.
know it's dumb, but I want that.
Aww.
Yeah, I think I've
Like
seen
that
in
seems to be
random
one of the big
images.
things more than anything. That or and I was gonna say this in chat while we were watching it, like if there was one regret that I had during the quote unquote the dark age of Sonic, like during, you know, that mid 2000s, that time, was not collecting during that period. So I guess realistically, probably my answer would be any of the Sonic and the Black Knight merch. Like any of the figures, any of those
Yeah.
would probably be like my number one, right? Because I don't know if y'all follow prices on Sonic stuff, but they are obscenely expensive now.
It's out of
Yeah.
reach almost.
Ridiculous.
They
It's
are
like
almost
a
like
car
4
payment.
digits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, we got Excalibur. Do you want it for about $5,000?
Like, no.
That's too low. I'll take it for $7,000 for a piece of plastic for my Wiimote.
Y'all Sonic Envy needs to buy a car. I'm not gonna be dropping 4 digits on a Sonic item. Like, no.
Yeah, it's funny. You can go back in time and get more '90s vintage Sonic obscure items cheaper than those, you know, that era. It's kind of interesting, you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or even the GamePro Sonic Adventure ones that came out too. I know those are starting to get high up there. Like all the ones, like, no, it's not a Sonic item. I was talking about like the GamePro stuff, but out of all the GamePro Sega figures that they released at that time, it's not a Sonic item that I want the most. It is the Crazy Taxi. I want that so bad. It's big. It's Axel. It's Axel's car in Crazy Taxi. And I'm just like, that's the one that I want the most. Mr. Comment says they got a few of them. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, hit me in the DM, possibly. That'd be cool.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, that's probably the item I would want the most. Realistically, the Sonic and the Black Knight figures, but unrealistically, pie in the sky dumb item, that golf bag.
Wow.
That's cool. Johnny, I want to throw it over to you real quick.
I can't think of anything.
Well, what? You didn't come prepared, man? Didn't you have like a
never-
notebook on you?
Like,
I
never
never
come
come
prepared.
prepared. That's my entire shtick, Sora. You know this.
I know. Oh man, this is over. All right, no worries.
That's it. We're canceled. Good night, everybody.
We're canceled. No, I will
That's
never
funny.
get a golf bag. Anyway, Sally Acorn did ask. Oh, yes, you know.
Oh no, I was literally gonna read the same thing. Go ahead, Sora. It's all
why
you.
don't you? Why don't you? Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
All right, do your job for you. All right, I got you.
Well, you were offering. I'm just being nice. Now I don't know what to do.
Why is the channel changing from Sora Star to Shino Starlight?
Yeah, Shino Starlight. Yo,
Oh yeah, I guess I'm taking over now.
put the dress on.
Okay. Oh no.
What?
All right, go ahead.
I mean,
buddy.
I don't know,
Just
might-
on Shino,
I don't know,
or
might look
Sora
good
help
on
do
me.
it again.
Okay, for real. Though. Oh,
It's
yeah.
like you mentioned it. Maybe so. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, possibly. Sally Acorn 21 says, first off, great podcast, Sora, and S rank for you and for G. If you have someone that you like as a Sonic fan who is your favorite voice actor and voice actress in the Sonic franchise, mine is Roger Craig Smith, Jason Griffin, Cindy Robinson, and Evan Bartley. So basically,
Oh.
who are your favorite actors and actresses for
Oh, this is such a hard question. Like, this is such a hard question because, especially, I mean, not gonna lie, especially after meeting a good chunk of them and chatting with a good chunk of them, it's such a hard question. I get asked all the time, like, who's your favorite Sonic? And it's just like, who's your favorite Sonic? Who's your favorite Sonic back? Because they're all good. Like, I have not heard a iteration of Sonic yet that I could say that doesn't sound like Sonic, or that wasn't any sort of good representation of Sonic. They're
Yep.
all good, right? But oh man, my favorite though. So for a while, like, so the kid in me wants to say Jaleel White because he was the Sonic that I grew up with. He's the one that I grew up with throughout the years. As I have aged and as like we evolved and all that good stuff, I also kind of really got a lot more akin to Roger Craig Smith because like I like his kind of sarcastic style Sonic, and when he plays the dramatic side of Sonic, I find that like his dramatic Sonic is probably my favorite like out of all of them. Like it's amazing. Like it's just that wow bang quick wit, and then he could just turn it on a dime, and it sounds wonderful. But Ryan Drummond though.
Ryan.
Ryan Drummond and Jason, that's such a hard decision. It really is. So I'll come back to Sonic. Shadow, my favorite is David Humphrey. He is my favorite Shadow. Because I love all the Shadows that I've heard. They're all great. But like from him, I think he's got that perfect level of mystique, confidence, and just a little tiny bit of anger without going too aggro. Like without going too aggro. Like I think that I love his Shadow.
Right.
Probably more than anybody else. Although Keanu is pretty dang close. But yeah, I would say so.
He's like the national treasure.
And then just from a personal standpoint, Lisa Ortiz.
Oh,
Lisa Ortiz is Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the perfect Amy.
Really out of anybody, and just also not just Amy for me. Beyond that, I just love Lisa Ortiz's work just as a whole. Not just Amy, but also D-Lit, Record of Lotus War, Lena Inverse, The Slayers, her various voices in Pokemon.
I love Lena Inverse. She's one of my favorites.
So much good stuff. So overall, out of everybody, just as a voice acting standpoint, she's probably my favorite. I don't know if I can answer my favorite Sonic. Let me get back to you. I don't know if I can answer that right now.
Well,
gee, you hit me in the heartstrings. Damn.
Right. Yeah, those are all great, and I love Jaleel White for Sonic. That's what I grew up with, of course, too. Ryan hits me in a certain way. It's and I mean even the movie Sonic. Ben
Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz, yeah. I was blanking for a second there. Ben Schwartz is amazing. Of course, he has such a rich voice acting, career at this point with such memorable characters, DuckTales and Turtles, and you got to start back on Parks and Rec and stuff like that. So, but I gotta go to Colleen because Colleen I was listening to her when I was a kid and in Digimon as Sora Takenouchi, and that's my namesake. That's where I took the name Sora from. Sorry to disappoint Kingdom Hearts fans out there, but
I'm sorry, Sora. We're done professionally and personally.
Sorry. Wait, for which part? Which part of what I said? Because Colleen, or
no, because
Kingdom Hearts. Oh, got you. All right. Can't throw me curveballs like that, Johnny. God.
I love throwing curveballs. It's my favorite activity. Also throwing shit at you. That's the thing.
Well, thank you. That's what the audience's pastime is. Normally, I listen, G. If you were here on a normal night, I'd be getting stuff rolled at me. I have the redeems off right now. Just to give respect to you. Anyway, but okay. So Colleen, because I've been listening to her since I was a kid. She was Sora in Digimon, and then she's Tails, currently, and I'm just like, I love that. But Lisa, of course, is there too. I mean, gosh, I adore her voice and everything, and. So yeah, but that's I can't decide on one thing or another. I'm screwed at this point.
Oh,
but those
I'll be honest, I might
the ones I like. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I might be a little tiny bit biased because Lisa was the first any sort of celebrity or voice actor figure that agreed to do an interview for my YouTube channel. So I might be a little tiny bit biased for Lisa, but that's okay. And even till to this day, like so many years later, she still remembers me. Like she still remembers me, still recognizes me. But Colleen. So I've emceed for Colleen a couple of times. Hopefully next month in July, I'm actually going to be at a convention where I should be emceeing her panel at Southeast Game Exchange. So I'm hoping that she'll agree to do a one-on-one interview. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that maybe, because this will be the 4th panel that I've interviewed with her, and it's like, oh, we got to do an interview now.
One-on-one.
Like we got to do a one-on-one interview now. It's like we're besties now, right? No, don't answer that.
Besties. No. And she's thinking her like,
I don't want to make it weird. Don't make it weird.
Well, she'll be like, oh yeah, we're besties, and in her mind it's like, oh boy, it's one of those.
It's like,
something came up. See you later.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I appreciate your work, but I'm gonna go this way.
I forgot. I have to meet my coffee boy. That's delivering.
Gotta see a guy about a thing,
Yeah. My apartment's flooded.
Colleen definitely likes her coffee. I found that out as I was saying goodbye to her at the convention last year. So
nice.
Oh yeah. You got to meet her.
Yeah. I actually had the opportunity to meet her last year, G, at Comic-Con. So I got lucky to get it. So I got lucky to get a Comic-Con ticket. So long story short, I'm also a member of the New York City Ghostbusters, which is a 501c3 charity organization. We dress as Ghostbusters. We have our own Ecto-1. We do all this stuff in New York City.
Nice.
So we always have a Comic-Con a panel at a booth at Comic-Con every year in the cosplay section in New York City. So this year they gave us half of the passes that we got last year. So some of us would either have to work double time or just not go at all. So unfortunately, it was like, well, I guess I won't be volunteering and going to Comic-Con this year. But then one of my at my day job, one of my customers who I've been slowly becoming friends with gives me a spare Comic-Con ticket because his son, who lives in California, couldn't make it out here. So yay, I got to go to Comic-Con. But
nice.
But yeah, I met Colleen, and she was absolutely wonderful and so kind. And I obviously I did the whole fangirl thing. I was like, oh, I loved you in Sonic. You're the best Tails. I did all that. But one of the things I loved. But one of the things I loved talking to her about was that I said, I am so proud of the fact that you are one of the original Sonic the Hedgehog voice actresses that actually got to be in the live action films. Yeah. So Sonic 3 hadn't come out yet either. And she said for her, it was one of her proudest moments, and she was so happy to be a part of it. And she really hopes that her example will lead to other video game voice actors and actresses getting a chance to roll their voice their characters in upcoming future video game franchise movies. And I know she would like to see that. I would definitely like to see that. And then
I would love to see that.
hell yeah.
And then, of course, it's a convention, so it gets down to the business point. So, her business manager, trying to upsell me on like my experience, like photos and all that stuff. And of course, because I had such a good time with Colleen, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting the holographic tails picture, and I'm gonna get her excited, take a picture and everything. And so the manager tries to upsell me, right? She's like, well, hey, for about like $10 more, you could have her write one of your favorite quotes from Sonic the Hedgehog that Tails says. And literally in that moment, I forgot everything I knew about Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yes, it's because the pressure was on, and so but then these other people who wanted to meet Colleen came up, so the business manager went to go and handle them and set up a package deal. And so I just looked at Colleen, I'm like, I don't know what I really want you to say. I'm happy, honestly, with just an autograph. I'm just happy I got to meet you and get to talk to you a little bit, and I was trying to be respectful and just tell her, thank you for making my entire con. But then she goes to sign it. I look away for like a second while she's signing it, and then she comes up to me and she's like, hey, don't tell her I did this for you. And I look at I look at the picture that she signed for me, and she puts only two words that stick with me to this day: fly high. And I'm like, Tails told me to fly high.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
no,
that's
I'm
awesome.
Not pilot, but I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but we took the picture. She gave me a hug, and then it was like, take care of yourself. I'm like, just make sure that you stay hydrated, and you stay hydrated, you stay caffeinated, and make sure that you eat, you take breaks and eat frequently. And then she holds up her coffee and her water bottle. She's like, oh, I'm already covered. I'm like, great. So,
oh yeah, she's prepared.
Great.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the one panel that I did MC when I first met Colleen. I got to MC for her and Roger Craig Smith at Game On a couple of years ago. And I was prepared because it was right before Sonic 2. So like I was prepared because I knew that like many of the questions and how we were probably going to be asking about her getting the opportunity to play as Tails in the movie. And so I didn't want Roger Craig to be left out, right? So it's like, so as I was going through his history, I was just like, what can I talk and ask him about that's on the level of being in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? And I thumbed through, it's like, wait a minute, he got to be Batman? It's like, not many people could say they got to be the voice of Batman. So when we did that, it's just like, oh yeah. So I talked to Colleen about the movie. I said, well, we all know that like when talking about Colleen being in the movie, I'm sure people have asked about you possibly ever being in the Sonic movie or why you maybe not. But have you ever thought about the fact that you got to be Batman? So I want to talk about you getting a chance to play the role of Batman, one of the most iconic pop culture icons ever. And so we started talking about him being in Batman. So because I wanted him to get that extra big rub like that too. So
right.
it was awesome.
That's kind. Yeah. I didn't even know they did Batman.
Arkham Origins, and I think the metagame.
Yep, Arkham Origins.
Okay.
I love that game. It's fun.
No.
Yep.
Dang. Oh, that's interesting. So you learn something new every day, folks. Something new every day.
That's like when I got to meet Lee Majdub, who's going to be at Sonic Expo again this year, which is cool. But I got to meet him last year, and I had to think of something out of the box because he did agree to an interview, and I only had like 7 minutes. I didn't have a whole lot of time. So I was like, okay, let's make the best out of this. But I wanted to find something outside of the Sonic movie that I wanted to ask him about. And so when I was digging into his history, I found out that he did a handful of fan-made horror movies based off of like Dead Rising, Pokemon Pokepocalypse was the one that he was in. It's like, we gotta talk about that. He's like, oh, Pokepocalypse, you heard about that? So I was like, yes. I love finding the little small unique things like that to chat about whenever I get a chance to meet them, and that's why I'm really hoping that Colleen will give me the time. So that would be amazing.
I
hope she does give it to you.
On the Sonic experience, like I want to interview industry members as well, and there's a couple things in the works that is going to open up the door to that, I think. But Colleen would, I would be internally fangirling. I'm like, you were on Digimon. And I had kind of a crush on that character too. Which we all know extends to the voice actress, of course, right? No.
Totally.
But it's just that voice is so iconic in my head still to this day. And so many other things I can't even think of right now. But yeah, no, I want to have people like her on. Oh my god, I'm being attacked. My redeems are back. Jeez Louise.
All's right with the world.
All's right with the world. I was getting lambasted by my friends. Yeah, don't worry, G. I spaz out randomly in the middle of my streams.
Nah, you're good. It's like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
yeah.
that.
I just
beat-
only
that's
wish
that
I had a little-
VTuber life.
So I wish I had a little character like y'all too to join y'all. It's like add a little puppy down there with y'all. Maybe someday. We'll
Imagine
see.
you
Yeah,
have
that's-
a puppy OC, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Artists in the chat, new challenge for you.
Yes.
Somebody make G the puppy. Can somebody? Let's make it as a community. We can make it happen. Make
I
them a-
feel that I feel this design takes a little bit of more effort. You know, if you want to make it personally yours.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
I, think
It is-
it'll
I
take
know
some
that's-
time.
I fully know that that's something that's not going to be like easily done with just boom boom. It would have to be like with inputs and everything. So like I fully understand. That would be something that would have to be commissioned out of anything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I totally understand that.
Let me tell
Absolutely.
you, G, we know a couple artists that are phenomenal. That
I don't know,
could take care
Spora.
of
I
it.
think the Sonic fandom's lacking in fantastic artists to make shit for everybody.
Oh, shut your dirty mouth, Johnny. No, what do you know? You're just a wolf. Wait, she knows a wolf. You're both no wolves. No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You guys are predators. I need to be careful.
Maybe we don't use that word.
Wait, I meant when I say predators in the animal kingdom, because you're wolves and I'm a hedgehog and I could be eaten by you.
We
Or
will,
not
we
the
will
thing
eat
from the
you
You know
movie,
alive.
what?
Sora.
You know what? This proves
Go
my
help the
point.
aliens.
Hedgehogs don't look before they leap, and they leap into trouble like
Is that how
Sonic.
Sonic? Yeah, that's why I'm a blue hedgehog. You know, I just whoops, spikes. Oh boy, you know. Holy crap.
Well, my only advice, I think my only advice to you is that when you're designing your OC is to, you kind of got to dig deep. Like, what is it that you want to put on your OC or have them wear, or like try to find things that like are reminiscent to like who you are as
Yeah.
a person. Like, it took me a
Oh,
few
yeah.
tries. It took me a few tries, like years of trying to get the design that actually fit my personality. And then lo and behold, lucky me, 2 years ago I got the design of my OC the way that I wanted him, and I agree that he's very much me, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to find that for yourself as well. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. It's a lot
awesome.
of fun.
Listen, as
Exactly.
a Sonic community member of this, of everything, it's almost mandatory that you should have an OC of some sort. So in your time, you'll find joy. Which, by the way, I
No pressure.
started out as a bunny, then went to a dog puppy myself. Whatever. It's always difficult actually when you have a dog OC. It's like, do I call myself the dog? That feels weird, or the puppy? That feels cute. But then anyway, I landed at hedgehog, and now I feel at home. So
All dogs are
you know.
puppies in the end. That's why we have pound
where they
puppies.
start. That's true. And boy,
Hey, I grew up with pound puppies when I was a kid, so
Yeah.
all
There it
about
is.
it. Much love.
Yeah, I remember pound puppies, and it was. I remember there was a block of pound puppies, My Little Pony.
Yep.
It's some other show, I'm sure. I can't remember. Care Bears, maybe.
Right, Homer's Prime.
What?
Oh, wait, we're talking about the originals. Never mind.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
Pound
I heard
Puppies also had a
crime.
TV show.
I was
back
thinking of
in
the hub. I
day.
was thinking of the hub.
Oh yeah.
The
And then it got
Hub.
remade too. There was the hub, exactly. There was a new one that came
Oh,
out too.
You're right. There
I remember
was.
that, but I didn't
never
hear much
watched
about it.
it.
I remember it came out and I heard nothing else about it.
I never watched it.
MLP took the spotlight from it. That's why.
Pretty much.
True.
But I do remember there was one that did exist in the 80s, and I remember like looking at like the opening sequence, and I'm like, for a show that
Catchy.
came out in the 80s, they are doing a lot of like 60s like greaser rock and
West
roll
Side
style
Story.
references in this. It's very West Side Story.
Yeah.
They had a lot of West Side
The
Story.
dogs
stuff
just
in
come
the
in
That's
80s.
snapping
because
their
they're-
fingers.
That's
You know?
because it's like
Mhm.
the kids of the parents came from that age. They were making the cartoons.
Yep.
True. And now who are
You-
making the cartoons? The ones from the 90s and 2000s are making the cartoons
It's
now.
us,
and
baby. It's us. Our
It's
generations.
us. Yeah. Woo!
Correct.
It's our turn now. Wow.
Amy had requested that I hydrate, so let me hydrate. It's one of the redeems.
Same. Same.
No,
Right.
sorry. Do you
That's
have some? Is Amy always in your house? No. Not in my head. Just on my streams.
Never.
Don't you know, everybody? There's two sides of your mind. There's a right
Left
side
and a
and a
right.
left side. Amy's on one side of the head, and Blaze is on the other.
Yeah, I do enjoy Blaze. Blaze, what a great character.
And your lane, Thor.
Whatever, Johnny.
Stay with my wife. Grab yours.
All right, fine. But hey, so G, I don't want to keep you too much longer. You know what we're gonna do for the next half hour. I'm gonna throw on some Sonic Blitz. But otherwise, you know, I appreciate you stopping in for this Q&A. You've given me a lot of your time. You've been very flexible, and I truly, truly appreciate the opportunity. And thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing me on. I'm honored to be your first guest for the show, and may everything go even more amazing throughout the time. So thank you. I'll be popping into your streams every now and then too. See, I'll be around.
Likewise, and you know, I appreciate it. You know, and hopefully we can do this again sometime, and we can do you know, here's to collabing, or you know, whatever comes up. We're even having in 100 episodes, I'll have you back. What do I say? If I hit 100 episodes, you'll be the 100th. 100th.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers to that. Yes. So there. It's stated right here. It's been recorded. Into
it doesn't happen. Thor's a liar, and everyone's got to. Everyone's got to
believe. Set in stone, immortalized.
Indeed. But
and
yeah.
I just gave you a follow on Twitch. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Go
oh yeah.
To G's stream. Let me grab your card. Make sure everybody's got it. Here it is.
You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, I never had the opportunity to really get to know you until, you know, Sora mentioned that you were going to be doing this podcast. And then when I heard about you and what you do and everything, I was like, oh, I want to meet G. I want to get to know G more. And, you know, watching this podcast and get to hear your story and just get to hang out in here with you a little bit. Like, you are absolutely amazing. And I hope that you continue on a very successful creative journey. I hope that, you know, things in your personal life are treating you fair and are treating you well. And I wish you nothing but happiness.
I thank you so much.
Well said.
And same for y'all as well too. But yeah, definitely. Thank you, and I guess until next time. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Take care, G.
Good night to you. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's hear it up
What
for
a gem.
G. G, let's
yeah.
get spam. Put G in the chat, everybody. Everyone, put G into the chat.
GG's.
G's all around.
GG's for the G.
Yo. All right. So we are gonna pop this puppy up here. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Hey, that's my shtick. Don't you dare.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Mel.
Listen, I hate you all.
I didn't do anything, so why am I being roped
Why
into
are you
this?
dragging her into this, Sora? What the hell?
What?
I've been nothing but respectful, okay? And then you
she's been
say
here
that to me?
Just doing.
God,
She's
I
sitting
didn't
in
say
the
that
corner
to
doing
her.
some colorings. You say this awful stuff to her. What does she ever do, huh?
Oh my god, that's
Trixie.
not what happened. Wait, when did I say Trixie specifically? I'm confused.
Just
do you
now
mean?
you did. You singled her out specifically.
I did?
Yeah, just now.
I mean,
When you
I
said her
feel
name.
golly gee willikers, I feel like I'm being gaslit, but if you all say that's what I did, I guess I did it.
You
don't know,
had us
Ryan.
all in a sum together in the one word.
In the
So,
I'll talk.
one word you.
What's that one word, Sora?
I don't know. I got ahead of myself there.
It's speaking of Sora impressions, Trixie, I'll never forget yours. Look at me, I'm Sora. Rawr!
I had a conniption fit, okay? I didn't quite understand how to do the whale yet, so...
Oh,
The
you mean
whale? Yeah. Oh,
the
the whale. Like for when you said whale, I thought of fish for some reason, but that makes more sense.
W-A-I-L. Whale.
Yes. Listen, it takes years of mastery. Let me just say, you know.
I look at Johnny's
not.
nose ring on his on his wiggle. I just want to like poke it with a stick.
My what?
Poke it with a stick. Let me just update.
They don't have a nose ring.
Or is that a?
Yeah, that's just my nose.
Oh, is that your? Oh my god, I'm dumb.
That's just the shine on his nose.
Oh,
What are you talking
What
about?
nose ring are you?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's because I looked at how the Wiggles were drawn, and I noticed that some of them didn't have noses. Like I don't have a nose on mine. Trixie doesn't have a nose on hers, and I'm dumb. I'm sorry.
Because
I was like,
ours are
wow.
tiny. They
What's
don't
wrong
need to
with
be
you?
seen.
I guess I
Shino?
can't smell you later.
Do you want to leave, Sheena?
Meh.
What the hell just happened?
No.
No,
I'm-
I'm just playing.
No, I'm
obviously. Okay.
I see how it is. Thank you.
No. Stay.
Here, I think this wig is yours. It's in many colors. You can wear it. It comes in curls.
Wah.
Yeah, I gotta fix this. Where's the Elgato?
I'm a arigato, Mr. Roboto.
I still remember that one year. Someone's like, Sonic's coming out with the game. And then one guy's like, nah, Sonic's not coming out with the game. And it's just like, look, your ride is here, the clown car. And sure enough, Sonic came out with Sonic Frontiers. And people were like, oh, guess that ride's yours!
Yes. Oh, by the way, chat, can you still hear everybody? Me, Trixie, Johnny, and Shino?
Chad, if you can hear us, tell us what your favorite non-Sonic game is.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Non-Sonic.
Yeah.
Something other than the blue hedgehog we're all obsessed with.
Yeah. Can
Mega
you hear
Man
Johnny
X
right
and
now?
X4.
I had to make a tweak in the audio, so I just want to make sure everybody can still be heard and all that good stuff. Chat. Oh, great to meet you, 2G. Thanks for they left us a parting message there.
Yeah, have a good night.
There's
Good night.
116 of you out there in some capacity.
There's
Speak up.
104 days of stuff. No, wait.
Hey, Sora, Truge, Trixie, Shino. Hey, Sakura,
Rouge.
McQueen.
That's not Truge.
Bro.
Yeah, you mean Johnny.
Yeah, hi, I'm Johnny. I'm the other one.
I'm the other one.
Johnny is special in our hearts. We
Yeah.
love the hedge wolf.
Fine,
Yeah, I am special.
I'll do
That's
it.
what my doctor said when they diagnosed me.
Wow.
Where?
And here we are. Alright, I'm just checking myself. Say something, people.
Hi, how's it
Something
going?
people.
I know something
Say something,
big.
people.
Hi, how's it
Something
going?
people. I know something small.
Okay, you're up. Cool. Perfect.
I know something just right.
Sora isn't really that tall.
What? I'm 5'9".
That's
what-
in real life, but your SOC is
Oh,
different.
yeah. No, I'm like 2 inches shorter than you, so I don't know what that is. So anyway,
Tall's the
Sonic
Hedgehog.
Blitz. Alright, card game. I'm enjoying it. I played it for a couple hours earlier this afternoon and streamed it live to all of you. Oh, we reloaded. Okay. I was
Look, you
idle
got
for a
it
while.
hard.
Well, I hope
Swipe.
it's Sally.
Nope.
Swipe.
Grounder. Amy! We can upgrade Amy now! Woo!
Let's go.
On me. On
Wave.
me.
Wave is very powerful, though, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's go here. We can do some upgrades. So it's a lot of your standard card, fare in these types of games. You got multiple currencies to upgrade and enhance the cards, blah, blah, blah. Good times had by all. Whatever.
Premium, my beloved.
Which one?
I said freemium, my beloved.
Oh, freemium. All right. Thought you said cream.
She's one of my favorites.
Yeah, she's
Just
one of my
leave
top
it.
characters.
We're getting to that point with the Sonic game where children might abuse their time and make people go poor.
I
mean-
understood exactly half of that.
Yeah, I agree. A spirited young girl with a budding talent for building watercraft. She dreams of being captain of her own ship one day. Until then,
Ooh.
she leads the helpful youth group called the Coconut Crew from a beautiful village on Southern Island. You know what I like about Blaze and Marine? They're basically gender bent Sonic and Tails. I think that's
Pretty much,
really,
yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
You know,
Also, poor Marie. She needs a new pose already. Let's take her for the love of God. Give her a new pose.
do you see the comic someone put out about her today?
Yeah, crikey, me back.
Yeah, saying pose me differently, please.
I'm sorry, Marine, but there are some people that have had their pose for over 25 years, and they're not changing it.
Yeah, she's
It's-
about to turn 25.
Well, yeah, and it's like someone was like, "Hey, Marine," and she's like, "Crikey, what?" And she hasn't left it since then. Oh. So look, by the way, flip your cards, people. You get gold. That's what I'm doing right
Gold.
now. You know, don't leave no stone unturned. You know what they say? Oh, is there a 3D effect to that? A little bit. Okay.
Yeah, there's kind of has one. It
2.5
kind of has one.
Yeah. Now, I did upgrade Amy's visual effect. That you can do a lot of cool stuff with that too.
It's kind of like one of those cards that you get in your own when you go to the roller rink and they give you those like hollow cards and you're just like, oh look, it's 3D, and you just turn the image and you think it's like a cheap knockoff.
Yeah. Caterpillar, Motobug, Big, wow. Alright, so now I can upgrade them. My missions, so... Sorry, we'll get to a battle here in a second. And
Sonic battle, if you will.
Sonic Battle! Look, this game is so accessible, even I understand how to play it, and I think that says a lot. What are you
I don't
trying to
think
say,
we've
Sword?
gotten Sonic yet. No Sonic.
I got Ricky!
Ah, yeah. The classic character everyone loves. Good old
Is-
Rick. Nothing can beat him.
It's a little cute guy. Little cute guy, or girl, I don't know.
I wonder if we'll get the chicken.
Well, this type of game requires as many characters as possible. That's why we're potentially gonna end up with some Archie Freedom
Familiar
Fighters.
faces.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, yes, they're placeholders in text in the code. There's no 3D models yet, but I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, you
Please,
do have
Sally, please,
Sonic. What
Sally.
am I talking about? You do have Sonic.
oh yeah. Sorry, I meant to say something. I was like, wait a minute. If you're talking about the cards, yes, I do have Sonic, who is very powerful. Mind you, wait until we get Super Sonic. Oh boy, who am I missing? Caterpillar.
Pacha Kamak.
Pacha
That's
Kamak?
my name. Pacha
Pacha-
Kamak. Yep.
Yeah, I was better at saying it when the Knuckles series came out because it was on everybody's mind. Here we go, man.
After all, he was the star of the best episode of the Knuckles series.
Thank you, Johnny, for your contributions.
You're welcome. You're welcome for being objectively correct.
Thank you for objectively having an objective opinion.
Someone in this fandom has to.
Yeah. Listen, everything's subjective.
Yeah, if you're a coward and not a Sigma like me.
You got no risk.
How dare you? I'm Rizzler Prime.
Skill issue.
Skill issue. What do they say about Sonic? The world's fastest blue hedgehog. Sonic runs at top speed and can use his special homing attack ability to destroy robots, protect his friends, and save the natural world around him. When he's not running, he loves to relax, but when enemies appear, he always follows his heart to help those nearby. Boring.
Following your heart?
Boo.
That's a reference. Darn you, Ian Flynn, you're ruining this franchise.
Curses! Apparently half of these all came from the Sonic fan wiki.
All these
You know who-
images.
No,
you know who else used the fan
descriptions.
wiki? Ian Flynn.
Ian Flynn, did he? Or did they
He's
just quote
ruining
him?
He's ruining this franchise, I'm telling you.
Wow, Johnny. And he got any more like based opinions?
Yeah, Transformers
Poor
1 and Godzilla
Flynn.
-1 are better than Sonic 3.
Mighty.
Yeah. I mean, objectively. when it comes to writing a listen, Godzilla -1 and Transformers 1 didn't have a character go missing in the third act completely. To never be seen again. Unless you count the girl that nearly got killed by Godzilla, but that's not my point.
But they still showed her.
When?
She came back at the end. She didn't die at all.
yeah,
of
she
it.
didn't
Yeah, true, right. Gosh, how many times am I gonna have to come back here and upgrade?
As many times as possible.
Here we go.
Now,
A common
you
type
do
of
know
squirrel.
that's
What?
somebody's name in a movie, right? Upgrade.
Is it?
Yeah, an Idiocracy.
I don't remember. You think I remember?
That's
Yeah,
a
you
movie
didn't
I
like that
haven't seen
movie
in
because
years.
it was a little stupid and a little like it could come true. You know what the funny thing is?
True. It is so true already. That's
You know what the
sad.
funny thing is? I kind of looked at it again and I realized something.
Oh.
You know what they were wearing for shoes?
No, I forget.
They got the shoes everybody was wearing in that movie was when they were brand new, and they all thought these types of shoes would never ever be used ever
Oh my
in
God.
today's
What I'm
day
thinking
and
of.
age. And those shoes were Crocs.
Crocs. I do have one pair of Crocs in my life. I will say. Not enough funds! I want
owned
plays!
Crocs before.
So do I.
I've never owned Crocs either, but you know I got
Never
really tempted to when they had Sonic Crocs out.
Yeah.
Not even Sonic could convince me to get Crocs.
There were Sonic Crocs that I bought.
You're part of the problem.
They were on sale. And I
You're
wore
on
'em-
sale.
I wore them to the Great Wolf Lodge and people complimented them. They're like, sick Crocs. I'm like, yeah. Thanks.
Straight up. You're part of the problem. Jesus.
That was funny. Look, redeeming and upgrading is its own campaign in this game. Christ! I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. It's very bouncy and fun.
So what's the ultimate goal here, Sora, in this game?
I'll show you, because that'll be more fun. Oh, look! Ring Journey! Open another pack! I can upgrade some more.
Besides just building up cards that probably go on forever, costing you money,
Well, I
what
haven't
else
spent
does it
any
do?
money yet. Listen, it's the
Gets
thrill
you-
of the
it gets your
fight.
It gets your dopamine up and running.
That's what I was about to say. It got my dopamine. I am living a high right now. You kidding?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. Look, another pack! Oh, good,
Man.
Ray!
Why
Look
do
at
I
the
feel like that's
spacing
a
on
kid
that.
in the candy store opening up their baseball cards? Or
I
an
feel-
older woman's like, I got my cigarettes today! Another pack!
I've
got And my then-
cigarette card. I hope it comes with Arthur Morgan today. He's my favorite gunslinger.
Right.
Better
Yeah.
card packs than cigarette packs, that's for sure.
Well,
Man.
that's how cards got started. In cigarette packs.
That's how you guys started.
Really?
That's how they made smoking cool.
Oh, it's
Well,
a medium
yeah, that-
pack.
If you go back to like the 1800s, when people were actually, smoking and didn't think anything of it, they would get like a nice piece of artwork card with their cigarette pack. And that's how they got people to keep coming back. Because they had the piece of cardboard in it.
Oh. Dang.
Froggy! Froggy!
And now you know, everybody. Yay!
Knowing is half the battle.
And knowing is
G.I.
shoot,
Joe.
you beat me. All right, I think I've done everything.
We could have done it together.
All right. Oh, look, Dash Loop Drifter. That's a real person. Oh,
Me.
All right, 2 cost cards that start in your deck get 1 plus 1 attack. Cool. See, I know how to play this game. You're gonna be proud of me, everybody.
I'm
Yeah,
already proud
ow!
of you. You're keeping yourself clean and not doing drugs.
Yes, I instead of nicotine addiction, I'm Sonic teen addiction. Get it?
How it always starts. It's a slippery slope.
Yep, slippery slope. So the point is I need to build up damage in my right lane. I could do it in the left lane if I wanted. You know, but oh wait. Actually, let me use. I can't. Right, I can't play. Right, okay, fine.
But basically, you have to have a strong enough deck to destroy the other person's shield.
Yeah, force field. In fact.
Force field.
A forces field, if you will.
Oh,
Yeah, you said that, and I have the Sonic Forces medley from the Sonic Symphony playing in my ears right now.
I better get this shit going.
Together we each other will let we. No, that's
You're next to me, and I'm next to you.
That's yeah, that is forces. What am I
That is
talking
forces.
about?
Yeah, what?
I was thinking you said frontiers. I'm like, no, they didn't say forces, but you did. You did.
Yeah.
People do that. They will hear forces or frontiers and mix up the two. It's funny.
Literally, if I didn't dollar for
two F's. Come on.
like
Sorry.
literally, if I didn't dollar for every time I try to say Sonic Frontier instead of Forces or Force instead of Frontiers, I'd have $1 million. Like hell, when I was first trying to commission Box to make Frontiers, and I was like, hey, I want to commission and make a mod for Forces. Wait, no, hold on a second.
You say this like you have done this
Several times.
Ooh, doggy. All right, it's time to go all in. Shoot.
This sounds like it was personal.
It is personal. Forces can go suck an egg.
Sorry, you're in trouble.
But
No, you're in trouble. Screw you, Charmy. I'm almost dead. I'm still good. Yeah. Watch me totally pwn them.
Oh, this is a close one.
Pwn these noobs, Sora.
Caterkiller, more like Cata dead. Oh crap! You stupid son of a.
I feel like you're in the World of Warcraft and you play Horde and you're like, we don't work with noobs, we pwn them.
Pwnage. Ricky!
Pwnage, my dude.
Watch out, everybody! It's Ricky the Chipmunk Face.
It's Ricky Spanish.
What happened? I lost. That's my first
No.
loss.
You lost it?
Okay, I was trying to strategize too much. It's fine. I need more! Fleet Blaster Racer!
Sora, could you good for a
Cool.
second and hydrate?
Yeah, I will hydrate. Thank you, my queen. Grant a card, +1 attack at the end of the turn. Sweet.
Whatever game you're playing, it looks bad and you're doing terrible.
Shut up, Surge! I know what I'm doing!
Oh, shut up.
Do you?
I'm sorry, I love Surge. Surge is my friend.
She could be listening and she could revoke your card to be the president, you know, if you act like that toward her.
What does that mean?
Well, you know,
Keep acting the way you are and you'll find out.
Yeah.
Keep acting like that and you'll find out. I see, I'm not the only one that can say random shit.
That's been my shtick since 2011. I'll have you know.
Since just 2011. Has +1 attack for each buddy in the lane. Alright, I'll take that. Oh boy. Oh brother. Snap, crackle, pop. There we go, we got Big in the house.
I just
oh,
noticed. I'm a girl.
I thought it
Tails
was
is a girl. Awesome. I'm proud of you, Tails. Okay. I'm gonna dash them. Tails is strategizing just like me. 6!
Strategizing what?
They're building up their lane. Oh fuck.
Oh,
Watch your fucking language.
I'm sorry. Forgive
It's okay.
me.
Forgive you.
Forgive
I'll forgive you
me,
this one time.
for I have sinned.
Forgive me, Father, for I have spinned.
I've
be extreme.
spinned All right, we're going at him.
Get it.
Get him. Get him.
Everyone, power up. Now all their abilities are powering each other up. Sonic Heroes! Ah, son of a... No, people, please, have mercy on my soul! I can't handle this shit! Alright, Sonic, end it. Watch Caterkiller get in my way. Nope! -10. Now that is how you Sonic!
Now that's what we call Sonic Racing.
Sonic Racing!
Here I come, Sora!
Oh god, it's a Tails. Wow. Jeez. At least Tails is kind enough to, like, warn me.
Yeah.
That's the warning before you blink your face.
Good thing you don't have Knuckles flying at your face.
Oh no. He's just like, oh no. Like, he's like, this is happening. Can't stop it.
Drunk echidna right in the face.
Look, we got a small rainbow packy.
Ooh.
Got some currency upgrades. All right. Who can we upgrade? Who wants to be upgraded? Wave the Swallow. Everyone, keep it to yourself.
Why even? Why even?
Why even? Oh, you know what? Can I do a visual upgrade? Yeah, here we go. No, can't. Wow, I need to get 500 gold to pour into that. So you can make your cards look even prettier. Prettier, people. Dynamic Shadow Chaser. Whoa, Shadow-kun?
Shadow-kun?
Shadow-kun? It's Shadow-kun, everybody!
Arf.
The best sweet to see on this side of the planet.
Yep.
Go Shadow-kun.
And the constant asker of McDonald's is long-ass car trip we're on.
Yeah. Yes. What happened? I get hit? I did. Alright, so Charmy, what do you do again? Has +1 attack. Okay. Take you. And...
Go Shadow-kun.
So, for those that don't know, every turn you get the corresponding power. So, we're on turn 3, now I've got 3 energy at the bottom. So that's how I can play cards. I'm not particularly happy with these cards, but Chow, what do you even do?
His best.
Yep.
You know, you're not wrong.
That's all we can do this day and age.
Well, I just do my best, Sora. I'm here fighting for you. Alright.
I'm what you call a pawn piece. All for you. So that maybe one day I can become the next queen. Wouldn't it be weird if Chow just said that, just randomly, in a Sonic game?
Would be a little weird. Yo, did you see
everything.
The previews for the new IDW comic?
God,
yeah, with Mimic.
Yeah, that was...
no, it was Cream.
Well...
no.
I mean... Depends on how you look at that. Let me see.
It was Cream with her little man.
I will say what I really liked about it is, one, it's always fun to see, quote-unquote, a guy character masquerading as a girl. That's always cute. But the best takeaway was the actual facial expressions that we got to see on Cream that she would never make. Never make. It's funny.
Yeah.
We're going to put Sonic up there.
The other thing was, I think Mimic unveiled what Cream's last name was.
Oh, did he? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know Whisper tried to trick him. That was funny. Saying the wrong name for Vanilla. I forget what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, just Topaz, whatever it was.
Yeah, is that what you're referring to? That's that.
Yeah.
I think is what was actually.
Yeah, no, that was Whisper trying to catch Mimic out. Make sure he did his freaking homework.
Alright, this should end the battle. Froggy! Yeah, okay. Whoa. It killed my Chow. Whatever. I won!
Oh, I had enough frogs to chow.
Feeling good! He admits it's Tails is a girl. Here's the swear. Oh. The swear toss. I get it. I do have enough to use the pass now? Wait, hang on. Do I? Where's the pass? Pass. Alright, let's go. Oh! This should do some damage. It's the super of the Sonic. So on reveal, get +3 attack and +1 health for each buddy on the field. Wow. That's handy.
Wow.
Wow. Oh shoot! Hypersora. Thanks for the emeralds. With his radiant gold color and sharp red eyes, Super Sonic is the ultimate form of Force Sonic. Powered by all 7 Chaos Emeralds, he moves so fast that he flies above the ground. Super Sonic absorbs constant ring energy to maintain this special form and is invincible against almost any attack.
Oh, the rings are canon.
Yeah, there you go. We're learning a lot of new things here, people.
Hey, learning is the basis for doing new things, you know?
Moving out of
This is true.
I have 18 red star rings. Where was the pass thing? Huh. Oh, it's up in the corner. Right, okay. Get pass. No, I can't afford nothing. I get the gold, but I'm going for the diamond. We're going for the diamond, people. All right, anyway, we are at the cusp of how long we can go for tonight. I'm going to have to call it. So we are going to raid some friendo. So let's see who's online. And we will call it.
We got Brenzone. I see Witherman, which is that E103 character who's in our server.
I'm just gonna hit Callie. I haven't done Callie in a while.
For this stage, kind of sad that we
Yeah,
didn't get
Callie.
Playing Superstars with Trip. That's always nice to see. I love Trip. Trip is such a good girl.
He really
Yes,
is.
She is.
Sega, please for the love of God, bring her back. I don't care how, just do it.
Yeah, seriously. All right, everybody, we'll keep it short here. We're broadcasting to 128 viewers right now between Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you all for being here for the premiere episode of the Sonic Experience with me, the Sora Mama. So it was very fun. Had a lot of interesting conversations, I think. Thank you, Shino, Trixie, and Johnny, for hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Appreciate your faces.
Oh,
And we'll probably be back. Well, no. Tomorrow, please tune in for my 12-hour subathon.
That won't be tomorrow. That will be on Thursday, basically.
Basically. So tomorrow night into Thursday at midnight is the Nintendo Switch launch. So in the middle of the night, I'm going to be having that up and running live. We're going to be playing Super Mario World Kart. Mario Kart World on the Switch 2 for... I'm trying to go for 12 hours. I'm going to go as long as I can, realistically.
Sorry, I gotta ask a question. What if it doesn't work out? What are you gonna do?
Sleep.
There you go.
Sleep.
12-hour sleep stream.
Yes. We'll play Blitz. No, but we'll be good. So anyway, we'll be back tomorrow night at some point. Please watch for me. Last words, everybody. Go. You got 5 seconds.
Go!
Watch Transformers 1 on Netflix.
Bye.